Lipscomb Bison's baseball is on the air. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Doc Allen coming to you live from beautiful Ken Dugan Field at Stephen Lee Marsh Stadium on the campus of Lipscomb University in Nashville, Tennessee, as we get set to bring you college baseball action between Jacksonville State University and the homestanding Lipscomb University Bisons. Game 2 of a 3-game series between these two teams as they start ASUN conference play. In the first game yesterday, Jacksonville State won a one-sided affair, defeating Lipscomb 10-1 in Game 1. The visiting Gamecocks from Jacksonville State from the ASUN Conference come into today's contest with a season record of 5 wins and 10 losses, 1-0 now in conference play on the 2022 season, while the Bisons come in with a season record of 10 wins and 8 losses, 0-1 in conference play. And again, last time out, the Bisons dropping a 10-1 decision to the Gamecocks here at Ken Dugan Field yesterday. Let's take a look at today's starting lineups. First for the visiting Gamecocks from Jacksonville State. Leading off at second base, number 3, Cole Frederick. Batting second, center fielder, number 2, T.J. Reeves. Batting third, catching, number 13, Alex Kerrigan. Batting cleanup, first baseman, number 23, Alex Strachan. Batting fifth, third baseman, number 8, Brennan Norton. Batting sixth in left field today, number 1, Cody Putnam. Batting seventh, right fielder, number 30, Carson Crowe. Batting eighth, designated hitter, number 10, Derek Jackson Jr. Batting ninth, the shortstop, number 6, Isaac Alexander. And on the mound for Jacksonville State, with a season record of 1 win and 2 losses and an ERA of 4.86, will be the freshman right-hander, number 7, Tanner Jones. Jacksonville State head coach is Jim Case in his 21st season. He's assisted by Evan Bush, Mike Murphy, and volunteer assistant Kyle Cameron. And now the starting lineup for the homestanding Lipscomb Bisons. Leading off today, right fielder number 21, John Shields. Batting second in center field, number 19, Maddox Houghton. Batting third, designated hitter, number 35, Mason Lundgren. Batting fourth, first baseman, number 44, Malik Williams. Batting fifth, doing the catching today, number 13, Rudy Maxwell. Batting sixth, third baseman, number 30, Trace Wilhoit. Batting seventh, second baseman, number 23, Ethan Stamps. Batting eighth, left fielder, number 7, Tiger Borum. And batting ninth, the shortstop, number 8, Caleb Ketchup. Getting the start on the mound today for the Bisons with a season record of no wins and 1 loss, ERA of 8.53, will be the sophomore left-hander Logan Van Treek. The head coach for the Bisons is Jeff Forehand. He is in his 16th season as head coach. He is assisted by pitching coach Matt Myers, hitting coach Ryan Price, director of baseball operations Brian Ryman, volunteer assistant Will Hawks, director of player development Adam Weiss, director of baseball analytics Ryan Moretti, and the assistant director of baseball operations Madeline Hoswell. The Bison's head groundskeeper is Colby Rawls, and the head baseball athletic trainer is Clint Woods. Umpires for today, behind the plate will be Bob Howard. Over at first base will be Stephen Hagan. And at third base will be Matthew Barrett. Our weather right now at Ken Dugan Field, overcast skies, completely cloudy. Temperature is 51 degrees with a real field temperature of 46 degrees. And we got westerly southwest winds coming out at 14 miles per hour. That wind will be blowing from the right field corner toward the left field corner. So we had quite a bit of wind yesterday, but it was blowing straight out of center field toward the left field line. Today the wind is directed much more out toward left field and to that left field corner, so something that we'll keep an eye on. We're expecting fairly gusty winds throughout our afternoon's contest today. So crowd still gathering. If you're in the area, please come on out and join us for some Bison baseball. Game 2 of this 3-game series. One more game tomorrow between these two teams. They'll have a 1 p.m. Central Time start. We'll be on the air on YouTube Live at approximately 12:55 p.m. Central Time tomorrow. Again, opening weekend of ASUN conference play for these two opponents who yesterday played for the very first time in the school's history. Jacksonville State new to the ASUN this year, coming over from the Ohio Valley Conference. So they're not new to the city of Nashville, as they've come and played against Belmont for several years. But yesterday was their first game against the Bisons, and first game since they've rejoined the ASUN Conference, having been in the conference back up until 2003. Bisons are taking the field, and as they do so, we're going to step aside as we celebrate together with you our nation's national anthem. Our national anthem is in the books, and as we get set for baseball action, earlier today we had a chance to visit with Lipscomb head coach Jeff Forehand to get his thoughts about today's game.
Coach Forehand, tough day yesterday at the ballpark. You put up 21 runs on Tuesday and then only get one yesterday. What's it take to bounce back on a day like today against a good Jacksonville State club?
Well, you know, you don't ever want to be judged on your best day or your worst day for sure. Yesterday, for whatever reason, you know, I thought we had a great first inning. We got 3 hits, and I thought that was going to be kind of our launching pad to, you know, continue to swing the bat. But their guy did a great job and come back, and, you know, their starter ended up, you know, got one in the first, and then he puts up 5 zeros and kind of lost our mojo a little bit. And so we talked about that a little bit on how we can bounce back. But I think just our competitive spirit, if we can get that back in there, and when we go down, just have that same feeling that, you know, just on Tuesday we scored 21 runs. So we just need to get that competitive spirit back, and I think we'll be in good shape.
One of the guys who's off to a really hot start is Mason Lundgren, and Mason hitting 385. Tell us a little bit about what he's bringing to the plate and how he's been able to be so successful early on.
You know, he works at it so hard. You know, that sounds cliche, but he does really work at it. He's got a he's just got a desire to want to be better every day. But you know, to be honest, I thought he would be hitting more doubles and homers, but he's kind of turned into a singles guy, which is okay too. So I think that's going to, you know, I think those doubles will come. But he's off to a great start. Hopefully he can just stay hot.
Good luck today, Coach.
Thanks a lot.
That's Bison's head coach Jeff Forehand with his thoughts before today's game. Getting the start on the mound today will be the sophomore Logan Van Treek, 6'4", 210-pounder out of Lincoln, Nebraska. Again, Van Treek making his 6th appearance on the season. This will be his 5th start. He's worked 12 2/3 innings, giving up 10 hits, 13 runs, 12 of which are earned, walking 14, striking out 15. Opposing hitters batting just .222 against Van Treek. He has a season record of no wins, 1 loss, and an ERA of 8.53. So Logan Van Treek, the lefty, will get the start today. And in the lineup for Jacksonville State, only one left-handed batter, something that we'll keep an eye on as we move through the game today. So we're glad you're with us. We get set to get underway here for Game 2 of this series. And leading things off for the Gamecocks will be the second baseman, Cole Frederick. Frederick comes in batting .242 on the season, 2 homers and 10 RBIs. He was 1 for 4 and scored a couple runs, had an RBI in yesterday's game. And so we get set to play ball, and he swings at the first pitch and hits it foul, 0-1 on a fastball. Defensively for the Bisons, Borum is in left field today, Houghton in center, Shields in right, Will Hoyt at third, Ketchup at short, Stamps at second, Williams at first, and Rudy Maxwell behind the plate. And here comes the 0-1 pitch. Fastball will stay high. It'll be 1 ball and 1 strike to Frederick. Reeves and Kerrigan were due up for the remainder of the inning for the Gamecocks here in the top of the first. That fastball will stay high as well. 2 balls and 1 strike. So one of the things we saw in yesterday's game, the Gamecocks coming out swinging aggressively early in the count, specifically at fastballs. They first pitch swinging team if it's anywhere close to the zone, and swung on and hit towards the right side and going back, still going back towards the wall. That's going to get over the head of Shields and get all the way to the wall. Frederick is going to cruise into second with a leadoff double. So Frederick hits that one to the wall on a 2-1 count, and the Gamecocks have their leadoff hitter on to start the top of the first inning. Good piece of hitting there. Fastball away. Frederick stuck with it. Shields and Houghton both gave a chase, but it was hit squarely in between the two of them, and it goes to the fence for the first hit of the day for the Gamecocks. And that'll bring up T.J. Reeves. He's the leading hitter on the team with a .345 batting average, 3 homers and 14 RBIs. And he was 2 for 4 with a run scored and a couple RBIs in yesterday's game. He also stole a base and was caught stealing. So he was a thorn in the side of the Bisons yesterday. That is a breaking ball that'll miss downstairs for ball 1. Reeves, a junior. Fairly veteran club here for Coach Case, as we'll talk about as we move through there. First the 1-0, and that's a fastball that'll miss low as well. 2 balls and no strikes on T.J. Reeves. Defensive shift on for the Bisons. You can see second baseman Ethan Stamps is pulled almost straight up the middle. He's only a step or two to the first base side of the bag at second. The shortstop Ketchup is deep in the hole on the right side, so they're playing him to pull, and he swings through an off-speed pitch there, and it's 2-1. So something to keep an eye on. We did see yesterday that the off-speed pitches seem to give the Gamecocks hitters a little bit more trouble. Good fastball hitting team, and as we said, they're aggressive at the plate, put a lot of good swings and had strategic hits yesterday. Swings and fouls that one back, and that'll even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes on T.J. Reeves. Van Treek's last start was at Georgia last week. He went 2 1/3 innings, giving up 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 of which were earned, walked 2 and struck out 2. Again, in 2 1/3 last Saturday at Georgia. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and hit into left field. It's going to be a base hit. Borum's going to field it, and they're going to hold Frederick at third base. And so back-to-back base hits for the Gamecocks as Reeves reaches on a single. And with 2 on and nobody out, Alex Kerrigan comes to the plate. Kerrigan is the catcher. He's batting .207, 1 homer and 5 RBIs. Was 1 for 5 yesterday and an RBI in the game. Gamecocks came into the series just hitting just .232 as a team, but they banged out 13 hits yesterday, out hitting Lipscomb 13-5. And again, a lot of clutch hitting with runners in scoring position as the Gamecocks put up 5 runs in the second and 1 in the third and never looked back after that as they claimed that 10-1 lead. That's a fastball that's in there for a called strike 1 to Alex Kerrigan. Again, Frederick, your runner at third. Reeves, your runner at first. Infield's at double play depth. Third baseman Wilhoit's playing a few steps behind the bag, and Williams is holding the runner on at first. And that's going to be an off-speed pitch that'll stay high, a ball and a strike. Reeves, as we mentioned, stole a bag yesterday and was caught stealing, so he's 4 of 7 on the season. For the season, the Gamecocks only have 14 steals out of 18 tries, so they're not a team that runs a whole lot. Here comes the pitch, and that's on the inside corner for a strike. And that'll make the count 2-2 on Kerrigan. Nobody out. Top of the first inning. Runners first and third from back-to-back base hits. Leadoff double from Frederick and a single from T.J. Reeves. And a 2-2 pitch is due to Alex Kerrigan from Logan Van Treek. Swings through it for strike 3. That looked like a good riding fastball that rode away from him. And so Kerrigan is down on strikes. And that'll bring up the first baseman, Alex Strachan. Strachan comes in batting .218. 3 homers, 10 RBIs. Those 3 homers tied for the team lead, rather. He was 1 for 3 yesterday, but ended up scoring 3 runs as a result of being on base via a couple of walks in addition to that base hit. So he bats now with 1 out and runners at the corners. And he swings, hits the first pitch high in the air on the right side. It's going to stay in play, and first baseman Malik Williams is drifting over, and now he finally gloves it. That ball really got pushed away from him as it held up in the wind, and he had barely got a glove on that one to record a big second out of the inning. So that ball started almost in foul territory, and then as we mentioned, that wind is blowing 14 to 20 miles an hour, and at the moment it's blowing straight out towards left field, and as the ball stayed up, the wind kept pushing it out, and Malik had to get a glove on that finally about halfway between first and second. So 2 outs now, 2 on, and Brennan Norton will bat. Norton comes in batting .259 with 1 homer, 6 RBIs. He swings through a fastball, strike 1. Norton had a solid day yesterday. He was 3 for 5, scored a couple runs, had an RBI. One of those base hits yesterday was a double. So he had a very solid afternoon yesterday for the Gamecocks. Van Treek set to bring the 0-1, and he swings and hits the fastball foul, and it'll be 0-2. So Van Treek with a good fastball will tend to run to his arm side or away from these right-handed hitters. He's also got a slider and a changeup that he'll throw, and when he has command, his stuff is truly electric. He's a 92 to 94 mile per hour fastball. Runner goes, fakes the throw to second, and nothing doing there. So Reeves will be credited with a stolen base, and that'll put runners at second and third. The pitch was high, and so the count's a ball and 2 strikes on Norton. Cody Putnam waits on deck for the Gamecocks. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runners at second and third. And Van Treek would like to get out of this without any damage here after surrendering 2 opening base hits. Here comes the 1-2. Fastball just got a piece and fouled it back. And again, the Gamecocks showed yesterday, good hitting fastball team. They're very aggressive, anything around the zone. Again, their season record a little bit deceptive because they've played a very tough early season schedule, and it's clear that there's a lot of talent on this team, and they showed it yesterday in all phases of the game. Here comes the 1-2 from Van Treek. Off-speed pitch, he chased it. It's down in the dirt. Maxwell's going to glove and flip to first, and Logan Van Treek will bounce back to get 2 strikeouts and strand 2 runners in the top of the first inning. So no runs, 2 hits. They did have 2 runners left on base, and after half an inning, no score between Jacksonville State and Lipscomb. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the home half of the first inning. John Shields, Maddox Houghton, and Mason Lundgren due up for the Bisons to face the freshman right-hander Tanner Jones. Jones is a 6-foot-tall, 190-pounder out of Thornsby, Alabama, Thorsby High School. On the season, he's made 4 starts, 4 appearances. He's worked 16 2/3 innings, 21 hits, 10 runs, 9 of which are earned. 9 walks, 15 strikeouts. Opponents batting .318 against him. So season record of 1 win, 2 losses, 4.86 ERA for the freshman right-hander Tanner Jones. And the Bisons will have 3 left-handed bats in the order today. And the first one of those is leadoff man John Shields. John comes in batting .316, 3 homers and 10 RBIs on the season. And he shows bunt, takes a fastball through there, 0-1. John was 0 for 4 yesterday. Tough day at the plate. He'd like to get untracked here and get some production at the top of the lineup. Here comes the 0-1. Breaking ball also catches the corner, and so that's a strike. 0-2 to Shields. The third baseman Norton way off the line at third and also almost even with the bag. So a defensive alignment there, and Shields hits it that way, but foul. And the count will remain no balls and 2 strikes. So Tanner Jones, true freshman out of Thorsby, Alabama. He started the season in this starting role. His first start of his college career was against Kentucky on the opening series. That one misses inside. It'll be 1 ball and 2 strikes. In that game, he went 3 innings, gave up 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned, 4 walks, and 1 strikeout. His longest outing of the season, 5 innings against Siena back on March the 5th. So we'll keep an eye on it and his pitch count. Shields hits that down the line, fair ball, past the first baseman stretch, and Shields is going to head towards second. It's still rolling towards the corner. Going over to cut it off is Crowe. Shields is going to round second. He's going to head to third, and he's going to be in there sliding with a stand-up triple. So Shields turned on that fastball and hit it all the way down the first baseline, just inside, but clearly fair. And Shields is aboard to get the Bisons started today. That'll bring up center fielder Maddox Houghton. Houghton comes in batting .310 on the season, 1 homer and 9 RBIs. Yesterday, Maddox was the only player in the Bison's lineup with multiple hits. He was 2 for 4, and both of those were doubles. He had a double down the right field line and a double down the left field line. And other than that, it was a quiet day offensively as the Bisons only tallied 5 hits yesterday. Starts him off with a breaking pitch that's going to be a called strike 1. Did see a big strike zone yesterday from home plate umpire Stephen Hagan. He's down at first today, so we'll keep an eye on that. And the 0-1 is a fastball hit on the ground past the diving shortstop Alexander. That's going to be an RBI base hit for Maddox Houghton as John Shields comes around to score the first run of the day for the Bisons. So solid piece of hitting there for Maddox Houghton. Didn't try to do too much with it, just stayed with it, hit it past the diving shortstop Alexander. So the Bisons have 2 hits in the inning, and they now lead 1-0. That'll bring up designated hitter Mason Lundgren. Mason, the leading average on the team, batting .385, no homers, 13 RBIs. 1 for 3 yesterday with an RBI for Lundgren. Fastball just off the outside corner. That'll be ball 1. Houghton's 5 for 5 on stolen base attempts on the season, so he is a threat to run over there. We'll give you the defensive alignment in just a moment. First, the pitch to Lundgren. He is running, and it's taken for an inside strike. The throw's there, but not in time as the throw was over to the third base side of the bag. So Maddox Houghton will steal a bag. Pitch was a strike, so it'll be a ball and a strike on Lundgren, but Maddox Houghton gets his 6th stolen base of the season. And the Bisons have another runner in scoring position with nobody out, leading 1-0, Lipscomb over Jacksonville State in the bottom half of the first inning. Bison scored 1 in the game yesterday, led 1-0 after that first inning, but the Gamecocks right back with 5 in the top of the second, and they never trailed again as they cruised to a 10-1 win over the Bisons. Here's the 1-1. That's a fastball that'll miss downstairs. 2 balls and 1 strikes on Mason Lundgren. So defensively for the Gamecocks, Putnam is in left, Reeves in center, Crowe in right, Norton at third, Alexander at short, Frederick at second, Strachan at first, and Kerrigan behind the plate again today for the Gamecocks, and Tanner Jones, the freshman, on the mound. Here's the 2-1, swings to an off-speed pitch, good one there, and that's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Gamecocks got a terrific start out of Isaiah Magwood yesterday. 6 innings, he gave up 5 hits, just the 1 run in the first inning. That was the only run he surrendered, walked 2 and struck out 7. And he was terrific. It was interesting to watch as he went deeper into the ball game. He went more to his breaking ball, so we'll watch that trend today. But he really kept the Bison's hitters off balance. Here comes the 2-2 to Lundgren. That's a fastball. It's going to bounce away from Kerrigan, and that's going to allow Houghton to get to third base, and it'll make the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Lundgren with Malik Williams waiting on deck. So again, the Bisons had a huge offensive output against Tennessee Tech on Tuesday night. They had put up 21 runs on 15 hits, but just 5 hits and 1 run yesterday. So as Coach Forehand said, they're looking for some offensive bounce back. Here comes the payoff pitch, and he swings and heads it towards second. That's going to score the run, and Maddox Houghton will come across and score the second run of the day for the Bisons as Mason Lundgren gets the RBI on the ground out. So good job there by Lundgren. Does exactly what you want him to do, pulling that one into the defense and getting that run home. So the Bisons jump out to a 2-0 lead, and with 1 out and the bases empty, that'll bring up Malik Williams. Malik hitting .362 on the season. 4 home runs, 23 RBIs. Both of those totals lead the Bisons. 1 for 3 in yesterday's game, and also had a walk for Malik Williams. And as we saw yesterday, they start him off with something off speed. It's outside. Malik saw a steady diet of breaking balls yesterday. 1 or 2 of his at-bats, about the only pitch that he saw was the breaking ball. Here comes the 1-0, another one. That one's going to miss the corner, and it'll be 2-0. I think it's pretty clear what the Gamecock scouting report on Malik Williams is so far. They are really going with a steady diet of off-speed to the Bison's cleanup hitter. Here's the 2-0 fastball, and he taps it towards short. Alexander's going to glove it and retire Malik Williams for the second out of the inning. So that was an outside fastball. Malik reached for it and got around it and pulled it to shortstop. So he's retired, and that'll bring up Rudy Maxwell. 2 outs and the bases empty. Rudy batting .329 on the season, 3 homers and 18 RBIs. Yesterday's game, Rudy was 0 for 4, so he's looking to get his first hit of the weekend series. Played in left field yesterday and doing the catching today, as it has been the pattern for the Bisons throughout this early part of the season. He swings, hits the first pitch in the air to right side. Crowe, the right fielder, is going back, and he's going to get it there for the third out of the inning. But the Bisons do score 2 runs on 2 hits. There were no errors and no one left on base. We've played 1 full inning, and your new score, Lipscomb 2, Jacksonville State nothing. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We're headed to the top half of the second inning. It'll be 6, 7, and 8. Putnam, Crowe, and Jackson to face Logan Van Treek. Gamecocks in the top of the first inning had a leadoff double from Cole Frederick, followed by a base hit from T.J. Reeves, and got runners to second and third. And then Van Treek responded with 2 strikeouts and a pop-out to get out of the inning. So Van Treek set to face Putnam. Putnam did not play in yesterday's game. He's a sophomore. He's in left field today. He's batting .250 on the season, 1 homer and 2 RBIs. He's only got 20 at-bats on the young season, and he looks at a fastball high for ball 1 to Cody Putnam. So left fielder Mason Mainers, who played yesterday, is not in the lineup today. Here comes the 1-0. That's a fastball that'll miss high as well. 2 balls and no strikes on Putnam. Defensively for the Bisons, again, Borum in left, Houghton in center, Shields in right, Will Hoyt at third, Ketchup at short, Stamps at second, Williams at first, and Maxwell behind the plate. And the 2-0 from Van Treek is going to stay inside, and he goes to a 3-ball count on Putnam. First 3-ball count of the day for LVT. The 3-0, that's going to catch the corner for strike 1. 3 balls and 1 strike on Cody Putnam. So we mentioned the Gamecocks have played a really tough schedule early in the season. First the 3-1, swings through that one, and it's back to 3-2. Gamecocks opened with a 3-game series. Kentucky came to Jacksonville State and defeated them in 3 games. Then they went on the road and played Alabama a single game, and Southern Miss 3 games. They did capture 1 of those 3 against Southern Miss, but a tough opening schedule, and he gets him for strike 3. So nice bounce back there by Van Treek. Got to 3-0 and then back with 3 straight strikes. That's his 3rd strikeout, and that'll bring up Carson Crowe. Crowe batting .197, 2 homers and 6 RBIs. Crowe was 1 for 5 in yesterday's game. He is the only left-handed batter in the lineup today for the Gamecocks. Breaking ball just off the plate, 1 ball, no strikes. So the Gamecocks winning just 1 of those first 7 games, but against very tough competition, and a lot of that on the road. They came home and swept Siena in 3 games. Swinging a foul back on the fastball. Then they hosted Troy and lost, and hosted South Alabama and lost those 3, but 2 of those were 1-run ball games, a 7-6 loss on that last Saturday and a 4-3 loss on Sunday. They had a game canceled at UAB on Tuesday, and now here they are in Nashville to play Lipscomb. The 1-1 hits him on the head, and that will be a hit by pitch. So Crowe will trot down to first base, and that'll bring up the designated hitter, Derek Jackson Jr. Jackson batting just .175 on the season, 1 homer and 4 RBIs. Was 0 for 4 in yesterday's game. So Jackson bats with 1 out, a runner at first. We're in the top of the second inning. Lipscomb leading Jacksonville State 2-0. And he swings through a fastball there, 0-1. So again, Van Treek will run his fastball in the low 90s. He's usually 92 to 94 with that fastball. When he's got command of that and his breaking ball, he's going to be really tough on both lefties and righties. That fastball will often have some sink to it or run to the arm side. Swung on and hits that one foul back, and he's ahead of Jackson, 0-2. What's gotten Van Treek in some trouble in his starts this year have just been the walks. When he limits those, he is very, very tough out against both lefties and righties. So Van Treek's got Derek Jackson Jr. in an 0-2 count. Alexander waits on deck. That swung on, hit right, or rather they've got him lined back to Van Treek, and he'll flip over to first for the double play. So that's a 1-3 double play lined out for the second and third out of the inning. And so nothing doing for the Gamecocks here. There's no runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on base. We played an inning and a half, and your score, Lipscomb 2, Jacksonville State 0. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the bottom half of the second inning. The freshman Tanner Jones back out there after surrendering a pair of hits and a pair of runs in the first inning. And he'll be facing 6, 7, and 8 for the Bisons, Will Hoyt, Stamps, and Borum. Lipscomb starting off with back-to-back base hits from Shields and Houghton in the first inning. And Houghton drove in a run, and then Mason Lundgren grounded out to drive in a second run of the inning. And so the Bisons are up 2-0 as we head to the bottom of the second here. We mentioned Tanner Jones, a true freshman out of Thorsby, Alabama, played at Thorsby High School, which is a Class 2A school in Alabama, and he became the first ever player from that school to sign with a Division I team. That's fouled out of play by Will Hoyt, 0-1. So undoubtedly the people of Thorsby are quite proud of Tanner Jones, as well they should be. And again, right into the starting rotation shows you that Coach Case and the staff have a lot of confidence in this young man. He throws a curveball in there for strike 2. Tough to come in as a true freshman and become a weekend starter, but he's in that role now, and he's ahead of Trace Wilhoit, 0-2. That's a fastball that'll stay high, and it'll be 1 ball and 2 strikes. Outfield's normal depth straight away. Standard defensive alignment for the infield here. We did see both teams do a fair bit of shifting yesterday, particularly the Bisons. Here comes the 1-2 to Wilhoit. And just off the plate with a slider is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Will Hoyt comes in batting .265, 2 homers, 10 RBIs. He was 0 for 4 yesterday, so he's still looking for his first base hit on the weekend. And the 2-2 pitch swung on and hit high in the air on the right side. Second baseman Frederick is over. He calls everyone off, and he camps out under it, and the wind will blow it back away from him, but he gloves it for the first out of the inning. So Will Hoyt is retired. That'll bring up Ethan Stamps. Stamps batting .288 on the season, 2 homers and 8 RBIs. 0 for 4 yesterday after a red-hot weekend in Georgia last weekend. He batted .500 over the weekend against the Bulldogs on the road and had 2 home runs in Sunday's doubleheader action. Oh, Ethan had gone 2 for 4 on Friday and then 3 for 4 and 1 for 4 on Sunday's games against the Bulldogs, and against Tennessee Tech he was also 1 for 4 with an RBI. He takes that one inside for ball 1. Stamps the sophomore, 5'10", out of Madison, Georgia. Started 22 games last year as a freshman, and he's got a base hit right back up the middle. So Ethan Stamps stays red hot, getting the 3rd Bison's hit of the day. 1-out single here in the bottom of the second. It's going to bring up Tiger Borum. Borum getting the start today in left field. It's off to a slow start on the season. He's batting just .158. No homers, 2 RBIs. Only had 19 at-bats on the season. So Borum will bat with 1 out and a runner at first. Borum was a member of the 2021 ASUN All-Freshman team. He batted .252 last season. 2 homers, 22 RBIs last year. Not much of a lead at first for Stamps, and Borum swings and fouls one out of play on a fastball, 0-1. On the season, Stamps is 1 out of 2 on stolen bases. Again, the Bisons as a team are now 29 out of 37 on the season, so they've run fairly successfully. Throw's going to go back to first. They'll chase him back. And again, same defensive alignment we saw earlier. The third baseman Norton way off the line over there, about even with the bag against the left-handed swinging Borum. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Shows bunt, pulls off a breaking ball, takes it inside. He's going to claim it hit him, and home plate umpire Bob Howard is going to agree. And so Borum is going to be aboard with a hit by pitch. Showed bunt, pulled back, looked like a breaking ball, and it caught him on the leg, and apparently he made enough of an attempt to get back. That's always a judgment call on the part of the home plate umpire, but he has directed him to first, and so that'll bring up Caleb Ketchup. Ketchup batting .250 on the season, 1 homer and 5 RBIs. 1 for 3 yesterday, but Caleb has been seeing the ball well and swinging it well. Last weekend at Georgia, some tough luck where he hit some balls hard right at some people. He was 2 for 3 in Sunday's game, and then 1 for 4 at Tennessee Tech with a couple of RBIs, hitting his first career home run on Tuesday. So he'll bat with 2 on and 1 out. He shows bunt, bunts it down the third base line. It's a good one. Norton's going to come in and field it, throw on the run. It gets him just in time. So bang, bang play there. Obviously with 1 out, Ketchup trying to bunt for a base hit. He made a good bunt, but Norton also made a good play. Fielded it on the run, threw on the run, and he'll retire Ketchup for the 2nd out of the inning. So the runners will move up 90 feet. Stamps gets to 3rd. Borum will go to 2nd. And we're back to the top of the order in John Shields. He started things off with the Bisons with a triple in the top of the 1st inning. He came around and scored on Maddox Houghton's base hit. So Shields 1 for 1 on the day, now hitting .328 on the season. Got 10 RBIs, and he'd love to pick up a couple more here with 2 outs. Swings and taps this one on the ground towards short. Alexander's going to glove it. He's going to throw on to first, and that'll be the 3rd out of the inning. So Shields swinging at the first pitch. Got a breaking ball off the end of the bat, and the Bisons will strand their first 2 runners of the day. They pick up no runs. There was 1 hit. They leave the 2 men on base, no errors. We've played 2 full innings. Your score, Lipscomb 2 and Jacksonville State 0. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We're headed to the top of the 3rd. It'll be 9-1-2 for the Gamecocks with Alexander, Frederick, and Reeves due up. Logan Van Treek back out for his 3rd inning of work. Solid start so far for Van Treek. 2 innings he's worked, giving up just 2 hits. Importantly, no walks and 3 strikeouts. And as we mentioned, when he commands the strike zone, really, really effective left-hander, this Bison sophomore Logan Van Treek. So Alexander will stand in there. First pitch swinging, as we mentioned, aggressive on the fastball and fouls it back. Alexander comes in batting .222, no homers, 6 RBIs. 1 for 5 in yesterday's game with an RBI and a run scored. Fastball is going to stay high and away. It'll be a ball and a strike. Alexander, a senior out of Muscle Shoals, Alabama. And looks at the 1-1, curveball in there, beauty, strike 2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nobody out, bases empty, top of the 3rd. Lipscomb 2 and Jacksonville State 0. And the 1-2 is a fastball that'll stay inside and low, 2-2. Second baseman Stamps back deep, taking a step or two behind the dirt in second base, and now he's going to see him foul the pitch off his feet. And the count will remain 2 balls, 2 strikes. That looked like a fastball, came right at him there. Van Treek currently at 32 pitches, getting through the first 2 innings, plus a batter here in the third. And here comes the 2-2 pitch to Isaac Alexander. Swings and fouls that one straight back. Again, another fastball that he ran in on his hands. So the count will remain 2 balls, 2 strikes. Caleb Cantola had the start yesterday for the Bisons, went the first 3 innings, followed by Patrick Williams for 3 innings. Then Will Newell went 2 2/3, and Matthew Maldonado got the last out. So 4 Bisons pitchers used in yesterday's affair. 2-2 breaking ball. It was a beauty, but it stayed low. And it'll be a full count on Isaac Alexander. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Patrick Williams with the most effective outing of the day. Went 3 innings, gave up just 1 hit, no runs, walked no one, and struck out 1. He was terrific in middle relief. 3-2 fastball is fouled out of play on the right side. It was a pitch that was slicing away from Alexander. We mentioned that Van Treek has a lot of arm side run typically on that fastball, and so Alexander just got a piece to stay alive. Count will remain full at 3 balls, 2 strikes. Swing on and hit in the air towards right center field. Shields coming over. Houghton's going to call him off, and he's going to camp under it for the first out of the inning. So we're back to the top of the order, and Cole Frederick. Frederick started things off for the Gamecocks in the first inning with a double that he hit out to the right center field wall. So the season average now up to 254. 2 home runs and 10 RBIs on the season for Frederick. Frederick did have a solo home run in yesterday's game as well. So he showed some pop, hit a ball a mile high in the air. Just kind of kept going, and got over the left field wall. Starts him off with a breaking ball that'll be down in the dirt for ball 1. Frederick is a senior, and he and Isaac Alexander have played 382 games for the Gamecocks, which is in the top 30 of all NCAA Division I baseball active players. Frederick is 16th on the list. He's from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. He's also second in NCAA baseball in career at-bats, as he's had over 800 at-bats since he arrived on campus. And Van Treek's gone to 3-0 as he's missed high on a fastball and a curveball. So 3 balls, no strikes to the leadoff hitter, Frederick, and now he gets a fastball on the outside corner, and that's 3-1. So Frederick and Alexander right up the middle. Second base and shortstop have played a lot of baseball for the Gamecocks. A veteran middle infield for Coach Case. Swings through that fastball, and it's 3-2. So good job by Van Treek to battle back from that 3-0 count, and now he's at full count with Frederick. TJ Reeves waiting on deck. 1 out and bases empty in the top of the third. Swung on and hit in the air to the right side. It's in shallow right field. Stamps going back. Shields comes in. He's calling him off. Again, wind pushing the ball away from him, but he'll record the second out of the inning. So you can really see how the wind's playing havoc out there. Again, it's blowing strongly out to left field. We've got it between 15 and 20 miles an hour at the moment. It's whipping our flag around out beyond the left field fence. So you can see that any ball that hangs up in the air is going to create some havoc out there, as that one did. But TJ Reeves will stand in and bat now with 2 outs and the bases empty, and the breaking ball is going to miss downstairs. Actually, that hit him. I'm going to say it hit him on his foot. So Reeves will be aboard with 2 outs. And that'll bring up Alex Kerrigan. Kerrigan was a strikeout victim back in the first inning. That was a breaking ball that looked like it hit in the dirt, and then it caught him on the foot. He was trying to move out of the way, but Reeves is aboard for the second time today, and he was on base 4 times yesterday. So TJ Reeves, an on-base machine for the Gamecocks. That's a fastball that'll miss downstairs. It'll be a ball and no strikes to Kerrigan. A little bit of a shift on as second baseman Stamps pulled up toward the middle. Third baseman Wilhoit back and well behind the bag at third. And he swings and hits this one high in the air. It's over toward the first base dugout. It's going to stay in play. Rudy Maxwell sees it pull back away from him, and he'll glove it for the third out of the inning. So again, not an easy play there, as that wind was pushing that one back away from Maxwell toward the field. But he gloves it for the third out of the inning. So no damage done after the hit by pitch. The Gamecocks strand another. They've stranded 3 through the first 3 innings. No runs and no hits in that inning. We head to the bottom of the third. Your score, Lipscomb 2. And Jacksonville State nothing. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. We're headed to the home half of the third inning. Lipscomb leading Jacksonville State 2-0, and the right-hander Tanner Jones back out to face 2-3-4 for the Bisons, Houghton, Lundgren, and Williams. Bisons have out-hit the Gamecocks 3-2. They have 2 runs on the board. And Jones so far has surrendered 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned. No walks and no strikeouts through the first 2 innings. He's needed just 28 pitches to get through those first 2 innings. So Houghton stands in. Maddox drove in the first run of the day for the Bisons. He had an RBI single. He stole a base and came around to score back in the first inning. Now batting .322 on the season, and he starts him off with a inside pitch that'll remain high for ball 1. Maddox had a leadoff home run to lead off his very first at-bat of the 2022 season in the Bison season opener, and he looks at a curveball through there for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fine senior center fielder for the Bisons in his 5th year here in Nashville. He swings and hits that fastball out of play to the right side. It'll be a ball and 2 strikes. Houghton was one of those guys that we've seen in a Bisons uniform for so long, it'll feel strange to not see him at the ballpark. He's played ever since his freshman on campus, and a terrific part of the program. He swings and hits this one foul toward the right side and the right field bullpen, and that's going to get out of play. The count will remain 1 ball and 2 strikes. Maddox, 6 foot tall, out of Dalton, Georgia. He was on the 2021 ASUN All-Academic team, also on the 2018 ASUN All-Freshman team. Swings and hits this one also foul and out of play. So he'll extend the at-bat. His highest season total 342 back in 2019 when he played all 55 games for the Bisons. He swings and hits this one high and deep towards left field, but Putnam has a beat on it, and he's going to glove it back there. So he hit that one well. Well, he'll be retired for the first out of the inning. And that'll bring up Mason Lundgren. And Lundgren had an RBI ground out back in the first inning as he drove in the 2nd run of the day for the Bisons. We mentioned Lundgren, the highest average on the team, batting .377 now on the season. 14 RBIs, no homers yet. As Coach Forehand said, a powerfully built young man who can swing the bat. There'll be some home runs to come, but he will certainly take that .377 average. He looks at an off-speed pitch in there for strike 1. Lundgren had a good day last Sunday against Georgia. 2 for 4 in the first game, 2 for 5 in the second game. That's a curveball that misses just off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. He's from Salina, Kansas. Played at Neosho County Community College last year, so it's his first year in a Bisons uniform. Swings and hits this one high in the air towards left field. Putnam going back. Gets back toward the warning track. Still going back. The wind holds it up, and he gloves it just in front of the fence. So wind kept pushing that one out. Lundgren hit it well. But Putnam's able to put him away for the 2nd out of the inning, and that'll bring up Malik Williams. Malik grounded out back in the 1st. He'll bat with 2 outs and the bases empty. We've got a symmetric ballpark here at Ken Dugan Field. It's 330 down the foul lines. It's 375 to each power alley and 400 to center field. So a symmetric wall that goes all the way around. It's about an 8-foot high wall that you see. That's a fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. One of the few fastballs Malik has seen. He did jump on a fastball and got around it and grounded out in the first inning, but he has seen a steady diet of off-speed pitches from the Gamecocks. And he sees one here and hits it toward the hole, and that's going to get through for a base hit. Diving Alexander couldn't come up with it, so good piece of hitting there from Malik Williams as he got an off-speed pitch, sat on it, and drove it through the hole. That'll be the 4th hit of the day for the Bisons, and with 2 outs and a man on first, Rudy Maxwell will come up. He flew out to right field in his first at-bat on the day. He's batting .324 on the season for Maxwell, the graduate transfer from Duke University. Played his first 3 seasons at Duke. Graduated from Duke in December and transferred to Lipscomb for his graduate degree. The first season in a Bison's uniform, and he looks at a curveball down for ball 1. Rudy homered in his very first at-bat as a Bison back in opening day. And as we mentioned, got 3 homers and 18 RBIs on the season. Lundgren, Williams, your runner at first. 2 outs in the bottom of the 3rd. Long hold here. And he swings and hits this one on the ground, but it's going to be right to the second baseman, Frederick, who's going to throw on to first. So they had a big shift on That would have likely been a base hit without the shift, but the second baseman, Frederick, was pulled over to the third base side of the bag, and he will retire Maxwell on the 4-3 ground out. So the Bisons get a base hit. They strand another runner. That's 3 they've stranded through 3 innings, but we've played 3 full innings, and your score, Lipscomb 2, Jacksonville State nothing. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We had the top half of the 4th inning. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Bisons. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for the Gamecocks. Lipscomb leading Jacksonville State 2-0. And Jacksonville State will have Strachan, Norton, and Putnam, their 4-5-6 hitters, out to face Logan Van Treek. The 6'4 sophomore Van Treek has been in command so far, and Strachan popped out in his first at-bat back in the 1st inning, so he'll stand in there to lead things off in the 4th. Game moving right along, in contrast to yesterday's game, which was a slow-moving affair. This one's hit high in the air to right field. Shields drifting over. Again, the wind pushes it away from him a little bit, but 1 pitch and 1 out for Van Treek here in the bottom or top of the 4th inning. So that'll bring up Brennan Norton. He was a strikeout victim back in the 1st. We mentioned Van Treek, a sophomore. He's out of Lincoln, Nebraska. 3rd season on campus. He had 7 games and made 2 starts back in 2020. The fastball misses outside. 2021, he started 10 games on the mound, all of his appearances, 43 2/3 innings for work, 47 strikeouts, 23 walks, where his season was cut a little short by injury. That one's going to miss down and away, and so it's 2-0 on Brennan Norton. So Van Treek off to a solid start here, throws an off-speed pitch in there for a strike, 2 balls and 1 strike. 3-2 record with a 5.15 ERA last year for Van Treek. That one's going to miss downstairs. And that'll make the count 3 balls and 1 strike to Brennan Norton, playing 3rd base today. Freshman, and he hits this one foul and out of play on the right side. Again, aggressive against that fastball in the zone, so it'll be 3 balls and 2 strikes. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, bases empty, 1 out here, and he swings and hits this one over, stamps his head and into right center field. Houghton's going to come over and cut that off, and that'll be a base hit for Brennan Norton as he hit that 3-2 pitch through there for a base hit. 3rd hit of the day for the Gamecocks, and with 1 out and a man on first, that'll bring up Cody Putnam. Putnam left field today, and he was a strikeout victim back in the 2nd inning. Get you caught up on some scores around the area for ASUN action as well as area teams that are in action today with our D1 baseball scoreboard here. Austin Peay and St. Louis are tied 1-1 in the top of the 7th. They're playing 2 games today, and that's game 1, and that's a breaking ball inside for ball 1 to Putnam. Tennessee has beaten South Carolina 5-2, so the Vols have taken the first 2 games of that series. Belmont leading Wofford 2-1 in the bottom of the 2nd inning, and Tennessee Martin on top of Western Carolina 3-1 in the top of the 7th. Swings through that one, and it'll be a ball and a strike on Putnam. Norton, your runner on first, does not have a stolen base attempt on the season. Again, the Gamecocks don't seem to be a running team outside of the top couple of guys in the order. There's a fastball just missed on the inside part. Make the count 2-1 on Putnam. Other scores of ASUN action. North Florida has beaten Liberty 5-2. So North Florida with a victory over 14th ranked Liberty. Bellarmine is leading Central Arkansas 6-4 in the top of the 6th. Swings through that one, and the count leaving at 2 balls and 2 strikes on Putnam. Eastern Kentucky leading North Alabama 3-1 the top of the 3rd. Later today, Florida Gulf Coast at Stetson and Kennesaw State at Jacksonville. And in area action, Old Dominion will be at Middle Tennessee. Swung on and hit back up the middle towards Stamps at second. He's going to flip over to Ketchup for 1 on to first. And got him. Double play. Good stretch there by Malik Williams. And that'll be a 4-6-3 double play to end the inning for the Gamecocks. So Logan Van Tree continues to move through the lineup. There were no runs and 1 hit. No errors, nobody left on base. We head to the bottom half of the 4th inning, and your score, Lipscomb 2 and Jacksonville State nothing. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. Home half of the 4th inning for the Bisons. They lead Jacksonville State 2-0, and Tanner Jones, the freshman right-hander, has gone all the way. He's worked 3 innings, given up 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, no walks, no strikeouts. He's thrown 41 pitches through those first 3 innings. And Trace Wilhoit will get things started off for the Bisons here in the bottom of the 4th. He popped out to second base back in the 2nd inning. Lipscomb leading 2-0. Bottom of the 4th inning as we're moving right along. We've been playing 49 minutes and already have 3.5 innings in the books. And fastball will miss outside for ball 1 to Trace Wilhoit. Wilhoit, a freshman out of Georgetown, Kentucky, did play last year at Northwest Florida State, 6'3", 200-pounder. Swings and hits this one down the left field line, but foul. It was a breaking ball that he saw all the way and hammered it, but was just foul. So the count will even up at 1 ball and 1 strike to Trace Wilhoit. He was first team all-conference last year at Northwest Florida State. Played at Scott County High School in Georgetown, Kentucky before heading to Florida. Swung on and hit high in the air toward left center field. Everybody's going back. They're heading towards the wall. Look up, and it is gone. Home run for Trace Wilhoit. Third home run of the season for Trace Wilhoit, and he hit that ball very high. Certainly the wind is blowing out that direction, but I think that one was going to get out regardless because he really got a hold of that when it was headed to left center field. Both Putnam and Reeves gave chase, but Trace Wilhoit has put the Bisons up 3-0 as he leads off the 4th with a solo home run, and that'll bring up Ethan Stamps. Stamps singled back in the 2nd inning, and now batting .302 on the season is Ethan Stamps, the sophomore second baseman. So starting to see a little bit of activity down in the Jacksonville State bullpen. No one's throwing yet, but we're seeing some stretching going on down there. Bisons have 5 hits now through 3 innings plus 1 batter, and swung on and hit high in the air towards right center field. Going back is Crowe, still going back, looks up to the wall and makes the catch right at the wall. Stamps really got a charge into that one, but Crowe with a good job tracking it down, and he catches it right against the wall for the first out of the inning. Stamps got about as close as you can get to hitting it out of the ballpark on the opposite way, and he continues to swing a hot bat. That'll bring up Tiger Borum. Borum was hit by a pitch and reached back in the 2nd inning. Batting was .158 on the season. Only had 19 at-bats so far. And again, one of 3 left-handed batters rather in the lineup for the Bisons. He looks at a breaking ball downstairs, 1 ball and no strikes. Another breaking ball will miss downstairs. 2 balls, no strike. So just missed back-to-back homers for the Bisons there. Stamps hit that one well, but making a nice play was Crowe up against the wall in right center field. Here comes the 2-0 to Borum. Just off the plate, 3-0. And you'll have to tip your cap to Tanner Jones. His control has been excellent. His fastball has been right around the plate. Even when he has missed very close. Here comes the 3-0. That one's going to miss high. I might have jinxed him there. That's one fastball that he's missed a little bit more out of the zone, but that'll bring up Caleb Ketchup. Ketchup grounded out to the third baseman back in the second inning, so 0 for 1 on the day. So Borum, your runner at first, 0 for 1 in stolen bases on the season this year. Last year he was 12 for 16 in stolen base attempts as he played in 41 games. And Coach Hayes is going to go out to the mound and talk to his freshman right-hander here. Again, we're seeing a little bit of activity down in the Gamecocks bullpen. Could not get a number on anyone who might be throwing. But we'll see how they elect to play it here. While we do that, we'll have a chance to catch you up on the ASUN standings and scoreboard. We mentioned it's the opening weekend of ASUN play. So on the east side of the league, yesterday Kennesaw State defeated Jacksonville 7-5. So they are 1-0 on the season. Liberty, meanwhile, lost 5-2 to North Florida. Jacksonville, with that loss to Kennesaw State, is 0-1. On the west side, Eastern Kentucky defeated North Alabama 8-6. Jacksonville State victorious over Lipscomb. Bellarmine beat Central Arkansas 4-2. So Eastern Kentucky, Jacksonville State, and Bellarmine winners yesterday as the throw goes to first, while Lipscomb, Central Arkansas, and North Alabama all 0-1 on the season. Caleb Ketchup's in there, and he's going to await the first pitch from Tanner Jones. 1 out, runner at first. Lipscomb leading Jacksonville State 3-0, and that's a breaking ball down in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes on Ketchup. Borum a threat to run. Ketchup a threat to bunt. He put a bunt down back in the second inning. It was a good bunt, but third baseman Norton made a great play and threw him out. Ketchup runs really well. Might be the fastest guy on the team. And third baseman Norton creeping in a little bit. Borum is running. Takes a strike through there. The throw's high, and they're not going to get him. So stolen base for Tiger Borum, his first on the season. The count will go to a ball and a strike on Ketchup, as he did not offer at that one. So Borum with a good jump, and he's in scoring position now with 1 out. A 1 ball, 1 strike count on Ketchup. Leadoff man John Shields waits on deck. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Ketchup in scoring position at second. Second baseman Frederick is shading him a little bit, but he's going to extend the lead now with a vault lead and an inside move by Jones to try to chase him back. So that cat and mouse game that you often see played down at second base. Borum trying to extend that lead. The second baseman Frederick is shading him. Shortstop Alexander's in the hole. Borum again leads off, and Ketchup checks his swing and fouls that one away. It'll be a ball and 2 strikes. We saw a check swing just like that yesterday for Jacksonville State turn into a 2 RBI base hit. Bison's infield was drawn in a bit, and a check swing flared a ball over shortstop and drove in 2 runs. So sometimes those check swings produce impressive results, but it's a ball and 2 strikes on Caleb Ketchup. That one's going to be in the dirt. Nice play there by Kerrigan to keep that from going to the backstop. So fastball got away there. It's 2-2 on Ketchup. So overall records on the eastern side: Kennesaw State 10-6, Liberty 12-3, Florida Gulf Coast 13-5, Stetson 12-5, Jacksonville 11-6, and North Florida 6-11. So the Eastern Division clubs off to a hot start this season. Here comes the 2-2, and he swung through that one for strike 3. That'll be the first strikeout of the day for Tanner Jones, and with 2 outs now, we're back to the top of the order and John Shields. Shields tripled to lead off the first inning and scored a run. Then he grounded out in the second, so John's 1 for 2 on the day. And he'll bat now with 2 outs and a runner at second. Starts him off with a curveball that'll stay outside for ball one. Records on the west side of the A-Sun: Eastern Kentucky 12-7, Jacksonville State 5-10, Bellarmine 3-15, Lipscomb 10-8, Central Arkansas 5-11, and North Alabama 5-11. So some of the clubs struggling early in the season, but conference play just underway, and 30 games of conference play on these A-Sun teams. Bourne with a huge lead at second. That's a breaking ball that's going to miss down. It'll be 2 balls and no strikes. Second baseman Frederick is staying well towards the hole and even a step or two deep on the grass, so it falls to the shortstop Alexander to hold the runner, if you will. And Borum took advantage of that distance and that gap to really extend and get a big secondary lead there. Again, he's trying to stay active at second and distract the pitcher if he can. It's a 2-ball, no-strike pitch due to John Shields. Swings through the off-speed pitch there, 2-1. Nice pitch by Jones. Got to be impressed with the poise of this freshman. True freshman out there, again, getting his 5th start on the season. And he's made some excellent pitches. He showed some good command. Not afraid to throw that breaking ball in any count. So a bright future ahead for this young freshman, Tanner Jones. We await a 2-1 pitch to John Shields. And that's going to be through there again, like a slider for 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Borum, your runner at second. 1 in this inning already. Lipscomb leading Jacksonville State 3-0 in the bottom of the 4th. And here comes the 2-2 pitch to John Shields. Swung on and hit high in the air in the infield. Shortstop Alexander is going back under it, still under it, and he will glove it for the 3rd out of the inning. So the Bisons do get 1 run on 1 hit. There were no errors. They did leave a man on base. They've stranded 4 through the first 4 innings. But your score after 4 innings of play: Lipscomb 3, Jacksonville State nothing. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons baseball on YouTube Live. We're headed to the top of the 5th inning. Lipscomb leading Jacksonville State 3-0. Logan Van Treek back out to face 7, 8, 9 for the Gamecocks. Crowe, Jackson, and Alexander. Van Treek has been terrific so far. 4 innings, given up 3 hits, no runs, no earned runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. And Crowe was hit by a pitch back in the 2nd inning and stranded. And that's a fastball going to ride inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Big shift on here. You can see second baseman Stamps out on the outfield grass in shallow right field, pulled way in the hole. Shortstop Ketchup on the first base side of second. So only 1 infielder to the left side. And that fastball will again ride inside. 2 balls, no strikes. Van Treek at 61 pitches so far through the first 4 innings, and clearly his best start of the season. A couple of people throwing in the Lipscomb bullpen. We'll try to keep an eye on that for you. That's a curveball right in there for strike 1. So 2 balls, 1 strike on Carson Crowe. Can't get a number on who's throwing down there for Lipscomb, but a couple arms in action, and that fastball will stay high. It'll be 3 balls and 1 strike. And Van Treek's only gone to a 3-ball count twice so far, actually 3 times in the first 4 innings. Excellent command today from Logan Van Treek. Here comes the 3-1, and just missed with that curveball. Boy, that was close. That'll be his first walk of the day, and that'll put the leadoff man aboard and bring up Derek Jackson Jr. Jr. hit the ball hard, but he hit it right back to Van Treek in the 2nd inning, and it wound up becoming a 1-3 double play as he doubled off Crowe, who had been hit by the pitch and was stranded there. Jackson batting 171 on the season, 1 homer and 4 RBIs. And that one's going to bounce in front of the plate. Maxwell alertly grabs it before anybody can advance, so it'll be 1 ball and no strikes. And Coach Matt Myers is going to jog out to talk to the left-hander Logan Van Treek. Again, we'll try to look down in the bullpen. Looks like the lefty Michael Dunkelberger is throwing. And there's also a righty throwing that we cannot get an eye on just quite yet. So 2 folks throwing down in the bullpen for the Bisons. And again, Van Treek's longest start of the season has been 3 2/3 innings. So he has already exceeded that here today. Excellent start so far. You got to think that Jackson may be the man to get here for him. So Derek Jackson Jr. batting with nobody out and a runner on at first. And Carson Crowe on the season, 5 for 5 in stolen bases. He leads the Gamecocks. He's not running, and that's a fastball just inside. And that'll be 2 balls and no strikes on Derek Jackson Jr. Isaac Alexander waits on deck. Bisons put up 2 in the first and added a single run in the fourth, and leading 3-0. Fastball catches the outside corner, 2-1. So that was slicing away from him, but he caught the corner and got the call. 2 balls, 1 strike. And here comes the 2-1. Fastball will miss down and away, 3-1. So 3 balls, 1 strike to Derek Jackson Jr. with Carson Crowe running at first. 5 hits for the Bisons, 3 hits for the Gamecocks so far today. And that one's hit foul and out of play, 3-2. Came back with a fastball there. And we'll see how they elect to play it here. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. We'll see if they elect to put Crowe in motion, as we mentioned, leading the team in stolen bases. Nobody out here in the top of the 5th inning. He is not running, and that pitch will miss high for ball 4. So back-to-back walks for Van Treek. First 2 walks of the day. And that'll bring up the Isaac Alexander, the shortstop, who flew out to center field in his first at-bat of the day, back in the 3rd inning. Alexander batting .217 on the season. And looks like we're going to have a change here. So we'll step aside while we get a call to the bullpen. When we come back, we'll tell you all about the new pitcher. We're playing in the top of the 5th inning. Your score, Lipscomb 3 and Jacksonville State 0. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. New pitcher for the Bisons, number 16, sophomore right-hander Gavin Grubbs, 5'10", 170-pounder out of Canton, Georgia. Grubbs making his 8th appearance on the season, which leads the Bisons. He's worked 3 1/3 innings, given up just 1 hit. No runs, no earned runs, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts. So no record at a 0.00 ERA. Opponents batting just 100 against him. And he's got runners on first and second with nobody out. Top of the 5th inning, Lipscomb leading 3-0, and Isaac Alexander, the shortstop, stands in there. Bison's with a bunt formation, and he bunts one, and it'll be foul. So third baseman Will Hoyt with a diagonal position at third, a couple steps off the bag. First baseman Williams playing inside the baseline, double play depth up the middle in this bunt situation. So no balls and 1 strike now. Grubbs a sidearm low 3/4 guy. He'll throw a frisbee type slider as well as a fastball, and that's a fastball, and that's going to get past Maxwell and all the way back to the screen. I suspect that'll be a wild pitch. And the runners will now advance 90 feet. So it'll be a ball and a strike as Alexander now will be batting with the runners at second and third. So we'll see how Coach Case elects to play this. Jim Case again in his 21st season at Jacksonville State. He's won 623 games. Was the OVC Coach of the Year in 2008, 2019, and had a very, very, very successful program for the Gamecocks. The 1-1, he swings and hits it foul. And it will be a ball and 2 strikes. In the 16 seasons he's been there, they've won more than 30 games in all but 2 seasons. Correction, in all but 3 seasons. One of those is very first. One of those was last year. They finished 26-27, 16-14 in the Ohio Valley Conference last year. Here comes the 1-2 pitch, way outside again. Maxwell has to dive out to spear that one. It'll make the count 2 balls, 2 strikes. Back-to-back walks to start the 5th inning. Crowe's your runner at third. Derek Jackson Jr., the runner at second. And Isaac Alexander has a 2-ball, 2-strike count against Gavin Grubbs on in relief of Logan Van Treek here in the 5th inning. And he swings and taps this one into center field. That's going to drop down for a base hit. The runners had to hold up to see if it would be caught, but Crowe's going to jog across for the first run of the game. And so, good piece of hitting. You'll have to tip your cap there to Alexander. He just got enough of that one to guide it out into center field. Both runners had to hold to see if it would be caught, but Crowe jogs across for the first run of the day, and Jackson goes to third. And so first hit of the inning, rather. And first run of the day for the Gamecocks. And we are now back to the top of the order. And Cole Frederick. Frederick led off with a double in the 1st inning, and he flew out to right field in the 3rd. Runners on the corners, and that one way outside again. So Grubbs missing out with the fastball so far today. Again, he typically throws a fastball and I call a frisbee type slider, a slider that stays somewhat horizontal but really has a break. He'll often start it right at the body of those right-handed hitters, and he'll end up over the middle of the plate. And that one's going to miss low and away, so it's 2 balls and no strikes. Cole Frederick batting .250 on the season, but has been productive and on base a number of times this weekend. He was 1 for 4 with a couple runs scored yesterday. Here comes the 2-0 pitch from Grubbs. Instead, they're going to go to first, and they'll chase Alexander back there. Alexander's 2 for 2 on steals on the season, so he is a threat to run. Double play depth up the middle for the Bisons. Will Hoyt a couple of steps behind the bag at third. Williams holding the runner on at first. Outfield is straight away. Very deep in left field is Borum. Again, the wind is blowing hard out that way, so he is going to play deep, and they're going to throw to first. And once again, Isaac Alexander is going to get back. So it's 2 balls and no strikes. Nobody out here in the top of the 5th. 1 run home already. Lipscomb leading Jacksonville State 3-1. And that one's going to miss low and away, ball 3. So Grubbs struggling with his command a little bit here. Got behind Alexander, and then at a 2-2 pitch, Alexander with a good piece of hitting drove it out into center field. So it's 3 balls and no strikes. We'll see if he elects to take a pitch here. These Gamecock hitters have been pretty aggressive with fastballs in the zone, but we'll see how they elect to play it. He is taking all the way, and he takes ball 4. So that's going to load the bases and bring up the hottest and most dangerous hitter in the lineup, T.J. Reeves. Reeves, the center fielder, singled and stole the base in the 1st and then was hit by a pitch in the 3rd. That's on the heels of 2 hits yesterday. He has been on base in 6 of 7 trips to the plate this weekend against the Bison. So dangerous moment here with Reeves batting when the base is loaded, and that one is a slider that just stays inside. That's kind of what I mentioned to you before. That one almost started behind Reeves. Broke in, but it didn't catch the corner of the plate. So 1 ball, no strikes. Jackson, your runner at third. Alexander at second. Frederick running at first. Nobody out in the top of the 5th inning. And that's a fastball off the plate, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Again, we had some action down in the Bison's bullpen. Dunkelberger was throwing earlier. Don't see him throwing at the moment, but Coach Jeff Forehand's on his way to the mound, and the reason he's not throwing is because I think he's about to come in the game. So we'll step aside for the pitching change. We'll tell you all about it when we come back. We're playing in the top of the 5th inning, Lipscomb 3, Jacksonville State 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. The new Bison's pitcher is sophomore left-hander number 34, Michael Dunkelberger, a 6-foot-tall, 215-pounder out of South Bend, Indiana, via Kalamazoo Valley Community College. Dunkelberger making his 5th appearance on the season. He started 3 games. He has a record of 2 wins, no losses, an ERA of 2.57. He's worked 14 innings, given up 12 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned, walked 5, struck out 8. Opponents batting just .226 against him. He got the start against Tennessee Tech on Tuesday, went 3 innings, gave up 2 hits, no runs, had 1 walk and 1 strikeout. In that game, he threw 42 pitches on Tuesday. So Dunkelberger on here in a tough spot for the Bisons. To recap the inning, Crowe and Jackson walked back-to-back, and Van Schreek was relieved by Gavin Grubbs. Grubbs gave up a flare single to center field, which drove in a run. He walked Frederick, and he has a 2-0 count on T.J. Reeves. And so we've got this call to the bullpen for Dunkelberger here. So important moment early in the game for the Bisons here. They jumped out to that 3-0 lead. It's now trimmed to 3-1, and the bases are still loaded and nobody out. And Dunkelberger, who's been extremely effective in his start so far, will be pitching with a 2-ball, no-strike count to Reeves. Again, the first 2 pitches were balls for Grubbs, and so he inherits a 2-0 count for the lefty Dunkelberger pitching to Reeves. And he starts him off with a breaking ball that'll stay outside, and it's 3-0. Always a tough spot to come in the middle of those counts, but Dunkelberger would be asked to do that, and Reeves might elect to take a pitch here, although, again, he has been aggressive against the fastballs earlier this series. 357 on the year, and he has 14 RBIs and a chance to add to that total here. Here comes the 3-0, taking all the way, and it's right through there for a strike. 3 balls and 1 strike. Kerrigan waits on deck. 5 hits for the Bison, 4 for the Gamecocks, but there have been 3 straight walks in the inning as well as a base hit. And the Gamecocks are threatening with the bases loaded and nobody out. The 3-1 pitch swung on and hit back up the middle. Base hit through into center field. They're going to wave Jackson. Here comes Alexander. The throw will go to third. And T.J. Reeves has tied the game at 3 aside. So good piece of hitting there on a 3-1 pitch. Reeves not trying to do too much with it. He hits it back up the middle, and he will collect 2 RBIs. And just like that, the Gamecocks have tied this one up at 3 aside. So still nobody out. Runners now first and second, and Alex Kerrigan, the catcher, is up. He's struck out and popped out. Shows bunt, takes inside for ball 1. Defensively, the Bisons have Malik Williams at first base playing a little inside the runner. Double play depth up the middle, although Ketchup is shaded towards the bag a little bit. Now he's going to back off towards his more normal spot. Third baseman Will Hoyt, again, playing that diagonal position near the bag in case there could be a bunt here. But Kerrigan is going to look at that one inside, and Dunkelberger looked like he slipped a little bit on the mound there. So 2 balls, no strikes to Alex Kerrigan with Strachan waiting on deck. So big moment here early in the game for the Gamecocks, as they were quiet through the first 4 innings, but they've put up 3 here in the 5th, aided by some walks from the Bison's pitching staff. Here comes the 2-0 pitch from Dunkelberger. Fastball, and that's going to miss down, and it's 3 balls and no strikes. So again, we'll see if he elects to take a pitch. Little activity down in the Bison's bullpen. Looks like Matthew Bonnert, the lefty, is throwing. Appears to be taking all the way, and that one misses inside for ball 4. That's 4 walks in the inning to go along with a couple of base hits. And once again, the bases will be loaded. Frederick at third, Reeves at second, and Kerrigan at first. And Alex Strachan is up. He's popped out to first base and flied out to right field. 0 for 2 on the day, hitting .211 on the season, 10 RBIs, batting with nobody out and the bases loaded. And Dunkelberger misses inside and low with a breaking pitch. 1 ball, no strikes. Again, this one had been all Bisons through the first 4 innings as they led 3-0, but big rally by the Gamecocks this inning, aided by the walk and a couple of timely base hits, and we're tied up 3-3, both teams with 5 hits. Here comes the 1-0 from Dunkelberger to Strachan. Fastball in the inside corner for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Looked like he took a little something off that. Dunkelberger, traditional power lefty. He's got a fastball, curveball, and a changeup. And you might think this is his man to get here with Bonnert loosening in the bullpen, but here comes the 1-1 pitch to Strachan. That misses inside and low, 2-1. Again, just one left-handed hitter in the lineup today for Coach Case and this Jacksonville State team. Lefty Logan Van Treek started, and lefty Dunkelberger now is going to throw a 2-1 pitch. Swung on and hit high in the air towards right field. Going back is Shields, still going back, looks up, it's over his head, it's off the wall for extra bases. He's going to throw towards second. 2 runs are going to come in to score, and Jacksonville State is going to lead 5-3. So good piece of hitting there by Strachan. That was a fastball tailing away from him. He went with it. Shields went back, but it went over his head up against the wall. And Frederick and Reeves will come around to score. Kerrigan will pull into third base, and Strachan is at second now. It's the 3rd base hit of the inning. And the Gamecocks have put up a 5 spot, just as they did in the 2nd inning yesterday. They now lead 5-3. Brennan Norton is at the plate. He struck out and singled. And he looks at a pitch that's inside for ball 1. So Dunkelberger not showing the command that we've seen from him most of the season. He came in with just 5 walks in 14 innings, but he seemed to have had trouble locating the fastball here. He's behind 1-0 on Norton. Infield is in. That swung on and tapped back towards the mound. Dunkelberger's going to look at the runners. He's going to throw to first, and that'll be a big first out of the inning. So good fielding job there as Dunkelberger will retire Norton 1-3, first out of the inning. And the left fielder Cody Putnam will stand in there. Putnam has struck out, and then he lined out into grounded out rather into a 4-6-3 double play back in the 4th. 227 on the season, 1 homer, 2 RBI. So runner second and third, 1 out, top of the 5th inning. Jacksonville State has gone in front 5-3. Infield still in on the grass with the runner at third base. First base is open here. And Dunkelberger throws a breaking ball that stays outside for ball 1. Putnam, the 9th man to bat in the inning for the Gamecocks. Crowe's on deck, and he started this off with a walk and scored the first run of the inning. That one's going to stay high for ball 2. So 2 balls, no strikes. Again, the Bisons use a signal card with a runner at second base. Otherwise, there's a headset relaying signs from the pitching coach to the catcher via walkie-talkie. But with the runner at second, they use a number system that all the players can identify. There's a breaking ball hammered down the line, just foul. He sat on that one, and he hit it down the line for strike 1. So normally a radio signal goes in from the pitching coach to the catcher, and he'll flash the signs. But with a runner at second base, they'll use a 3-digit code that the pitcher looks to get off his wristband, as will the catcher and all the other fielders. So everybody knows what pitch is coming. No signs need to be given, and the idea is to keep them from picking up any signs at second base. That's a curveball that's going to stay inside, and it's 3 balls and 1 strike on Cody Putnam. First base is open here with runners at second and third. 1 out, infield is in. We're in the top of the 5th. Here comes the 3-1 pitch. That's going to get in there for a strike. Fastball down at the knees, 3-2. So 3 balls, 2 strikes. Big moment here for the Bisons to try to hold this one right here. 5 runs in already this inning. And the Gamecocks have now out-hit the Bisons 6-5. Here's the 3-2. Swung on and hit in the air towards center field. Houghton's going to take a couple steps back. He's going to glove it there. Tagging at third will be Kerrigan, and he will come in to score the 6th run of the day for the Gamecocks. So it'll be an RBI sac fly for Cody Putnam. 2nd out of the inning. Holding at second will be Strachan. And batting for the 2nd time this inning will be Carson Crowe. He started this inning off with a walk, ended up getting around the bases on another walk and a wild pitch and scoring the first run of the inning. So 3rd at bat of the day. He's been hit by a pitch and walked, has Carson Crowe. He's batting .197 on the season. And he swings through a curveball there, 0-1. Crowe walked to start the inning, another walk to Jackson. Van Treek was relieved by Grubbs, who gave up a single. Walked a batter, got 2 balls on Reeves, was relieved by Dunkelberger, who gave up a single, a walk, a double, a ground out, a sacrifice fly, and now he's pitching downstairs to Carson Crowe. Even the count at a ball and a strike. 6 runs in this inning for the Gamecocks as they've taken advantage of bases on balls and a couple of timely hits here. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. That's a fastball in the outside corner for a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jackson would be next if Crowe is able to extend the inning here. So Strachan, your runner at second. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs for Carson Crowe as he awaits the pitch from Michael Dunkelberger. Swings through it and just gets a piece of it foul. Back to the screen. The count will remain a ball and 2 strikes. Close the book on Van Treek. He'll end up going 4 innings, giving up 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts through 72 pitches. And again, an excellent outing. He really was in command till this inning. Walked the first 2 batters he saw. Both ended up scoring. But got to feel good about the outing for Logan Van Treek today. Here comes the 1-2 curveball, and he's going to get a call strike 3 there on the inside corner. There were 4 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and there was 1 man left on base, so a big inning for the Gamecocks. And as we head to the bottom of the 5th, your new score, Jacksonville State 6 and Lipscomb 3. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Tanner Jones back out with a brand new ball game now. He's been staked to a 6-3 lead. The freshman Jones has gone 4 innings, given up 5 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, walk 1, struck out 1. He's sitting at 58 pitches through the first 4 innings, and he'll face Houghton, Lundgren, and Williams here for the Bisons, who now find themselves trailing 6-3. So Houghton singled and drove in a run in the first, stole the base and scored a run, and he flew out to left field in the third. So 1 for 2 on the day for Maddox, and he'll start him off with a fastball outside. 4-1. Again, Tanner Jones' longest outing of the season has been 5 innings against Siena. That was last weekend, or 2 weekends ago, correction. That's a fastball going to catch the inside corner for strike 1. Last weekend against South Alabama, Jones went 4 innings in a start, gave up 4 runs, 4 earned with 7 hits. Swung on and hit high in the air towards left field. Putnam going back, still going back, looks up. That one's way out of here. Home run, Maddox Houghton. Maddox Houghton has cut the lead to 6-4. Second home run of the season for Houghton. He hit that one way out in left center field. And Houghton has his second hit of the day and the 4th Bison's run. So 6-4 now, and Mason Lundgren will bat. Coach Case is going to go to the mound, and that may be the end of the day for Tanner Jones, who's pitched very well. Looks like we will indeed have a call to the bullpen. So as we do, we'll step aside. We'll tell you all about the new pitcher when we come back. Again, your score, Jacksonville State 6, Lipscomb 4. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons baseball on YouTube Live. The new pitcher for the Gamecocks is the sophomore right-hander, number 44, Jake Peppers, 6'3", 160-pounder out of Crossville, Alabama. Peppers making his 7th appearance on the season. He's had 1 start. He has a record of 2 wins, 1 loss, ERA of 5.54. He's worked 13 innings, given up 16 hits, 13 runs, 8 of which were earned, 9 walks, 7 strikeouts, and opponents batting .302 against Peppers. He's going to face Mason Lundgren. Lundgren has grounded out with an RBI and flied out to left field, so 0 for 2 on the day, still batting .370 on the season. No homers, 14 RBIs, and he looks at a strike through there for 0-1. So Peppers on in relief of Tanner Jones, who will end up going 4 innings. And he'll exit giving up 4 runs. And this is swung on and fouled out of play, and it'll be 0-2 on Lundgren. Maddox Houghton leading off this inning with a solo home run. The Bisons had a 3-0 lead going to the top of the 5th, and the fireworks have begun this inning. The Gamecocks put up 6 runs. The Bisons now a single run, and it's 6-4 as we wait an 0-2 pitch to Lundgren, and that's a breaking ball down and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 in the first for the Bisons, 1 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, 6 in the top of the fifth for the Gamecocks, and that's a breaking ball that bounces up there, 2-2. So each team with 6 hits, but the Bisons have gifted the Gamecocks a few walks that help them to get out to that 6 runs 5th inning. Well, here comes the 2-2. That misses just off the plate. Good pitch there. Didn't get the call. 3-2 now to Lundgren as he's fought his way back from that 0-2 count. Malik Williams waits on deck. Nobody out here in the bottom half of the 5th inning after Maddox Houghton led off with a solo home run for the Bisons. And Jake Peppers gets set to bring the payoff pitch. Swung on, hit into right field, base hit. Almost a carbon copy of Lundgren's, or correction, is to the right side where he had his RBI ground out earlier. But Lundgren is going to get the 7th Bisons hit of the day. And that'll bring up Malik Williams, who has grounded out and singled. Malik 2 for 5 on the weekend, batting .366 on the season, leads the Bisons with 4 home runs and 23 RBIs. So he'll bat now with 1 out or nobody out and a runner at first. Again, Lundgren 1 for 3 on stolen base attempts on the season, so we'll keep an eye on him. Off-speed pitch misses down. 1 ball, no strikes. If you're just joining us, we've talked about the fact that the Gamecocks have really pitched Williams off speed this weekend. He's a good fastball hitter, and he has seen a steady diet of breaking balls from the Gamecock pitchers this weekend. Here comes the 1-0 pitch from Peppers to Williams. Fastball outside corner, excellent location there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well executed pitch there, and that's what the Gamecocks have done. When they've thrown a fastball, they've thrown it away. Malik has had some success hitting to the opposite field this season, but hasn't done it in a little bit of time. It'd be interesting to see his approach here with a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Fastball hit into left field, base hit. He left that one in the middle of the plate, and Williams jumped on it for his 2nd base hit of the day, and that'll put runners 1st and 2nd, nobody out. And so back-to-back base hits for the Bisons, 3 hits here in the inning, and Rudy Maxwell's going to go up there. Rudy has flied out to right field and grounded out to 2nd base. And Rudy does have 2 sacrifices on the season. We'll see how the Bisons elect to play it here. They've got runners 1st and 2nd. Will Hoyt, who homered in his last at-bat, is on deck. So Peppers will look for the ground ball. Infield will be up the middle, double play depth. 3rd baseman Norton is even with the bag for the moment. 1st baseman Strachan is electing to play behind the runner. We'll see if they change that alignment. But see how Coach Forehand and the Bisons elect to play this with Maxwell. Inside move to 2nd. And many times teams will do that just to see if they can get a tip on what the batter's doing. They'll see if the batter will flinch at that first movement and show if a bunt is on. So not really trying to pick anybody off there, but just trying to learn and see what the play might be. But Maxwell didn't show anything. So here comes his first pitch from Peppers. He is not bunting, and he looks at a fastball downstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. So Maddox Houghton, solo home run to start the inning, and then back-to-back singles from Lundgren and Williams. And Rudy Maxwell bats with 2 outs, or correction, 2 men on and nobody out in the bottom of the 5th. Jacksonville State leading Lipscomb 6-4. Swings and hits this one on the ground to 2nd, or short, that may be 2. Flip to 2nd for 1 and on to 1st. And that's exactly what the Gamecocks were hoping for there. The 6-4-3 double play will erase Williams from the bases. It'll advance Lundgren over to 3rd, but now with 2 outs, that'll bring up Will Hoyt. As we mentioned, Trace with a solo home run to lead off the 4th inning, and then he popped out in the 2nd inning. So he bats now with 2 outs and a runner at 3rd. So Maxwell reached across for that breaking ball and tapped it to short, and the Gamecocks, again, very experienced middle infield with Frederick and Alexander, both of whom are seniors and have played a lot of games, and they executed that one well. That's a fastball that'll miss downstairs. 1 ball, no strikes. Stamps waits on deck. Bisons have now out-hit the Gamecocks 8-6. But they trail on the scoreboard in the runs category 6-4. And Will Hoyt would love to drive one in here. Swings through the breaking ball. Good one there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jake Peppers on in relief of the starter, Tanner Jones. And checks his swing, and that's a fastball strike. So it'll be 1 ball and 2 strikes on Will Hoyt. Jones will end up going 4 innings and will get charged with all 4 runs, 4 earned runs, 1 walk and 1 strikeout. And that one's going to bounce up there. Kerrigan blocks it. No one's able to advance. Like a breaking ball that just slipped out of his hand. So 2 balls, 2 strikes to trace Will Hoyt. Breaking ball just missed inside. Good spot. I think Peppers thought he had him struck out. But that'll make the count full, and that was indeed inside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. We have a pretty good vantage point of home plate, and we might not get all of them right, but that one was clearly inside and off the plate. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and here comes the payoff. Swung and hammered in the air towards left field. Putnam going back, and he's going to catch it on a line for the 3rd out of the inning. So Will Hoyt really hit that ball well, but he hit it right at the left fielder Putnam, who retreated a few steps and caught it for the 3rd out of the inning. But the Bisons do pick up 1 run. They have 3 hits. They will strand a runner. They've now stranded 5 through the first 5 innings. And as we head to the 6th, your new score, Jacksonville State 6 and Lipscomb 4. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the 6th inning. Your score, Jacksonville State 6, Lipscomb 4. Michael Dunkelberger back out on the mound for the Bisons. He came on in relief in the 5th. And Derek Jackson Jr. will get things started for the Gamecocks. He lined into a double play in the 2nd, walked and scored a run back in the 5th. So 0 for 1 on the day is Derek Jackson Jr. He swings to an off-speed pitch there. 4 strike 1. We'll get you caught up with a few scores. Here's some March Madness scores for you if you're interested in that. North Carolina has defeated Baylor 93-86 in overtime. The 0-1 is an off-speed that also will be in there, 0-2. And Kansas and Creighton are just starting the second half. Kansas leading Creighton 39-38. So those are your March Madness scores. We'll catch you up on some baseball score activity as we move through the game. But first, the 0-2. Off-speed pitch is way outside. It'll be a ball and 2 strikes on Derek Jackson. The 1-2 swung on and fouled out of play. So the count will remain 1 ball, 2 strikes on Jackson. Swings and taps this one on the ground towards 3rd. Will Hoyt's charging. Going to barehanded throw to 1st. Nice play. Excellent play by Will Hoyt. Barehanded play. We've seen him make that play a few times this season already, and it's a do-or-die play because if you don't get the bare hand on it, then you're not going to have a chance to make that throw out. And so good play by Will Hoyt, 1st out of the inning for the Bisons, and this brings up Alexander, the shortstop, who flew out to center field and single and drove in a run back in the 5th. So he's 1 for 2 on the day with an RBI. And fastball is going to stay high. 1 ball, no strike. So Van Treek started with the first 4 innings, gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned. Grubbs came in, faced 2 batters. Both of them got aboard, and he's charged with both of those runs after giving up 1 hit and a walk. All-speed pitch he swung through there, a ball and a strike. And Dunkelberger's now worked an inning and a third, giving up 2 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned with 1 walk and 1 strikeout. That breaking ball is going to stay outside. It'll be 2-1 on Isaac Alexander. At the top of the order, Cole Frederick waits on deck for the Gamecocks. Again, second game of a 3-game series. Jacksonville State cruised to a 10-1 win yesterday, but a much more competitive game today. And that swung on a hit high in the air to the right side. Going out into shallow right field is Stamps. He's going to get called off by Shields, and the ball is pushed away from him, and he's going to glove it. Again, that wind is blowing pretty hard towards left center field, and we've seen a number of balls that have pushed themselves away and back towards that area of the park, and that one almost got away from Shields, but he's able to glove it for the second out of the inning. And so with the bases empty and 2 outs, back to the top of the order, and Cole Frederick. Frederick's been on base a couple times. He had a double and a walk. He scored a run, and he also flew out to center field, batting .250 on the season, the leadoff man. That one will miss inside for ball 1. Here comes the 1-0. Swung on and hit for a base hit into right field. Good piece of hitting there. That was a fastball going away from him. He just stayed on it and drove it into right field. He'll have his second base hit of the day. And that'll be 7 hits overall for the Gamecocks. And that'll bring up the red-hot T.J. Reeves. Singled and stole a base in the first, was hit by a pitch in the third, and then drove in a couple runs with an RBI base hit in the fifth. So 2 for 2 on the day for Reeves. And he hammers another one to short. Great diving stop by Ketchup. Robs Reeves of a base hit there. Line drive sharp off the bat. Ketchup diving to his backhand side. Will glove that for the 3rd out of the inning, and a big catch there by Ketchup will strand a runner. So nothing doing for the Gamecocks. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left on base. They have stranded 5 so far through the first 6 turns at bat. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Your score, Jacksonville State 6 and Lipscomb 4. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. To the home half of the 6th inning we go, and it will be Ethan Stamps, Tiger Borum, and Caleb Ketchup to face Jake Peppers. Peppers on pitching his 2nd inning as he came on a relief in the 5th. He gave up a couple of base hits and then got a ground ball for a double play and a line out and got himself out of the inning without further damage. So Stamps will stand in there, and he'll look at an off-speed pitch for a strike. Ethan's hit the ball hard twice today. He's got a base hit up the middle, and then he drove one deep into the gap in right field, but was caught at the wall. So he's 1 for 2 on the day, and he swings and hits this one back up the middle, past the diving shortstop Alexander, base hit. So Stamps staying red hot with a base hit there. That'll be 9 hits on the day for the Bisons, and Stamps is aboard with a leadoff base hit in the 6th. That'll bring up Tiger Borum. Borum's been hit by a pitch and walked, so he's been on base twice. Did steal a base. 0 for 0 on the day, batting .158 on the season. And looks like we might have a pitching change here, and we will indeed. So as we do that, we'll step aside. We'll tell you about it when we come back. Playing in the bottom of the sixth, Lipscomb's trailing Jacksonville State 6-4. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's baseball on YouTube Live. New pitcher for the Gamecocks, left-hander senior, number 29, Dylan Hathcock. 6'3", 230-pounder out of Tallahassee, Alabama. Hathcock has 5 appearances on the season, all in relief. A record of no wins, 2 losses, 7.20 ERA. He's worked 10 innings, given up 15 hits, 10 runs, 8 earned, 5 walks, 8 strikeouts. Opponents batting .375 against Dylan Hathcock. He's on a relief of Jake Peppers. Peppers will end up going just 1 inning. He's responsible for the man on at first who stamps, and this is Tiger Borum, who again has been hit by a pitch and walked on the day. And he takes a fastball for a strike. The third baseman, Norton, appears to be so confident of a bunt that he is pulled way in on the infield grass, putting some dental work at risk there, but he seems to think that a bunt is coming. And he is right as Borum offers at it and misses it, and it's strike 2. So no balls, 2 strikes now. I would think Norton would probably back up a bit. He is literally almost even with the pitcher's mound as he came in there. Infield a double play depth up the middle. No balls, 2 strikes on Borum. And the 0-2 swings and taps it towards second. This could be 2. Frederick over to short for 1. Back to first, and not in time. So Borum will reach on the fielder's choice there. As a bang-bang play at first base, with Stamps cut down at second. Good turn there. The ball was hit pretty slowly. And Caleb Ketchup will stand in there. Caleb has grounded out and struck out on the day, 0 for 2. Batting .246 on the season. So Borum, your runner at first now. And he looks at a fastball off the plate for ball 1. Borum did steal a base back in the 4th inning, his first steal on the season, but he does have good speed, as you saw as he got down the line to beat out that relay throw. Long hold there, and time was called by Ketchup, and so there'll be no pitch there. So long hold used by Hathcock. Tanner Jones started. He went the first 4 innings, gave up 6 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned. Walked 1, struck out 1. Peppers 1 inning, gave up 3 hits, no runs, and now hit in the air to the right field side. And giving chase is Crowe, and he's going to catch it. Oh, it almost got away from him, but he catches it in fair territory for the second out of the inning. So Ketchup retired on the fly ball. Once again, the wind blowing hard towards left field, and those balls that hang up there are really pushing away from the fielders. So that'll be 2 down now, and John Shields will stand in there. John had a triple to lead off the game and scored a first run for the Bisons, and he's grounded out and popped out since then. So 1 for 3 on the day, batting .317 on the season. And he looks at a curveball for a strike, 0-1. Stamps singled to start the inning, and then Borum hit into a fielder's choice, reaching first as Stamps was erased at second. And Ketchup flew out to right field, and Shields is batting now with 2 outs and a runner at first. Jacksonville State leading 6-4, and that's a strike on the fastball on the outside part. And Hathcock has done a good job coming in, throwing strikes, getting ahead here 0-2 on Shields. Maddox Houghton waits on deck if Shields can extend the inning here. And that's going to be strike 3. Good spot there. Fastball right over the outside corner. And tip your cap to Dylan Hathcock, who comes in and does his job, getting a ground ball, a fly out, and a strikeout. And the Bisons will strand another runner. They've now stranded 6 through 6 innings, and they don't score despite the base hit. So we've played 6 full innings. Your score, Jacksonville State 6 and Lipscomb 4. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the 7th inning. 6 runs, 7 hits, no errors for Jacksonville State Gamecocks. 4 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Lipscomb Bisons. And new pitcher on the mound for the Bisons, sophomore left-hander Matthew Bonnert, 5'7", 180-pounder out of Cave Creek, Arizona via South Mountain Community College. Bonnert making his 6th appearance on the season. He's got a record of 2 wins, no losses, an ERA of 5.91. He's worked 10 2/3 innings, giving up just 3 hits, 7 runs, 7 earned, walked 10, struck out 16. Opponents are batting only .094 against Matthew Bonnert. So he'll take over here now in the 7th inning. And he'll be facing Alex Kerrigan, the catcher, and he's going to bounce the first one up there for ball 1. Kerrigan has struck out, has popped out, and drawn a walk and scored a run. The Bison started with Van Treek for 4 innings. Grubb faced 2 batters in the 5th. Dunkelberger will go 2 innings, as that one will miss downstairs as well. 2-0. Dunkelberger goes 2 innings, charged with 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. And now Bonnert will take over here in the top of the 7th inning for the Bisons. That's going to miss high, and it's ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes to Kerrigan. Strachan and Norton scheduled to follow here. Bisons have out-hit the Gamecocks 9-7, but the Gamecocks have taken advantage of a number of walks from the Bisons pitching staff and lead 6-4, and that one's going to be ball 4. And that'll be the 5th walk of the day from the Bisons. And that'll bring up Alex Strachan. Strachan has popped out, flied out, and had 2 RBIs on a double in his last at-bat back in the 5th. So 1 for 3 on the day for the senior first baseman, number 23, Alex Strachan. And that's a fastball on the outside corner for a strike. No balls and 1 strike. Strachan batting .224 on the season, 3 home runs and 12 RBIs. Those 3 home runs are tied for the team lead. So both he and TJ Reeves have 3 home runs. So not a big home run hitting team, but a team that showed some timely hitting and excellent defense throughout this weekend so far, these Jacksonville State Gamecocks. That's a fastball. It's going to stay off the plate. It'll be a ball and a strike. We mentioned last year they finished 16 and 14 in the OVC and finished 4th place. Did not make the tournament for the first time in the entire tenure of Coach Case as they lost a tiebreaker. So he has had a great run of success with this Jacksonville State program. That's hit high and foul. And that'll make the count a ball and 2 strikes. 16 seasons for Coach Case. In 2019, they went 39 and 23, 22 and 8 in the conference, and they went to the Oxford Regional in the NCAA tournament. So this has been a program that's had consistent excellence over the years. So 1 ball, 2 strikes from Matthew Bonnert, and swung on and hit high in the air on the right side. Stamps is ranging over. This is a mile high. It's going to come down, and he'll glove it for the first out of the inning. So that'll bring up Brennan Norton. Norton's got a single. He's also grounded out and struck out, so he's 1 for 3 on the day. 262 on the season. 1 homer and 6 RBIs for this freshman third baseman. Fastball gets called strike there on the outside corner-ish of the plate. Again, first time these teams have ever met was yesterday. They've never met before in baseball, as the Gamecocks are new to the A-Sun this year, or at least returning. They were previously in the A-Sun before Lipscomb was in there, and they're back now. That's hammered into left field for a base hit. He sat on that breaking ball and hit it well for a base hit, so that'll advance Kerrigan out to second, and Norton will be on at first. That'll be the 8th hit of the day for the Gamecocks, and runners now first and second and 1 out for Cody Putnam. Putnam hit a sacrifice fly for an RBI his last time up. He's also grounded into a double play and struck out. So 0 for 2 on the day. He does have an RBI and 227 on the season. Putnam, a sophomore playing in left field today, didn't play in yesterday's game. Fastball gets a strike call. Outside part of the plate again. 0-1. Same 2 teams tomorrow, 1 p.m. Central start time. We will again be on the air on YouTube Live with our broadcast time approximately 12:55 p.m. We invite you to come join us at the ballpark if you can. Weather's supposed to be a little nicer tomorrow. We'd love to see you out here. That's fouled straight back, 0-2. He came inside and challenged him with a fastball there. It will be Sunday Fun Day, which means that kids of all ages can run the bases after the game on the field. So if you've got kids, or maybe if you just consider yourself a kid, come on out to the ballpark tomorrow. When the game is done, you can run the bases here at Dugan Field on Sunday Fun Day. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Putnam. That's a breaking ball call, strike 3. Putnam thought it was low, but he's going to be punched out for the second out of the inning. That'll be the first strikeout for Bonnert. And now with 2 outs, that'll bring up Carson Crowe. And Coach Jim Case is going to come down and chat with Bob Howard. And again, I don't think they're talking about dinner spots or music spots in Nashville. Both Coach Case and Crowe and Putnam thought that one was low. But nonetheless, Carson Crowe is going to bat now with 2 outs and runners at first and second. And Bonnert will try to hold this one right here as the Bisons are trailing 6-4 in the top of the 7th inning. Crowe has been hit by a pitch, walked, and struck out on the day, so 0 for 1, batting .194 on the season. And that curveball is going to miss just inside ball 1. Big shift on, catch up the shortstop almost straight up the middle. Second baseman Stamps way in the hole towards first. Malik Williams, the first baseman, on the line towards the bag, trying to prevent against an extra base hit here in the 7th inning. 2 outs, 2 on. Fastball, late swing, and fouled it off. It'll be a ball and a strike on Crowe. Derek Jackson waiting on deck for the Gamecocks. Bisons jumped out early. They got 2 in the bottom of the 1st. Neither team scored until the bottom of the 4th. Bisons added 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th. We're up 4-0. But 6 runs in the top of the 5th from the Gamecocks put them ahead 6-4. As they've used the big inning both in Friday's game and in today's game. They had a 5-run second inning in Friday's game and never looked back. That one bounces up there, gets away from Maxwell. Both runners will advance. So Kerrigan to third. Norton will go to second, and the count will be 2 balls and 1 strike on Carson Crowe. No real activity in the Bison's bullpen, although there are a lot of bodies out there stretching and loosening and standing around, but nobody who's actively throwing at the moment. So the count will be 2 balls and 1 strike. Runners now at second and third, 2 outs, and Crowe with a chance to increase the lead for the Gamecocks, and Bonnert's going to go back to the windup, and he's going to step off and chase the runner back at second. So again, defensive shift on. The shortstop's almost directly behind him. Now he's going to shift over a couple of steps, but still shifted heavy to the pull side on Crowe. Big hole on the left side, and he swings through that fastball for strike 2. Swung late. That's 2 fastballs in a row he's been late on. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners second and third. Top of the 7th, 6-4. Jacksonville State leading Lipscomb. Borum, the left fielder, very, very deep. And the runner from third, Kerrigan, was way off the bag as the third baseman Wilhoit is back quite a ways. He's almost the only infielder on the left side, so they're taking advantage of that. Here comes the 2-2. Gus got a piece of it, stayed foul. So a little cat and mouse game going over at third after the pitch is thrown. Wilhoit's trying to break to third to make sure that Kerrigan does not get too big a secondary lead, but Kerrigan's trying to bother the pitcher. One advantage that Bonnert has is being a lefty. It's not quite directly in his field of view, but he is pitching from the windup here. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Matthew Bonnert is going to again turn to second base. Has his sign again off the card, signal coming in. And so here comes the 2-2 pitch from Bonnert to Crowe. Swung on and hit on the ground towards Stamps. He's in shallow right field. He's going to glove it, clutches a couple times. He's going to throw him out. So the shift really works there as Bonnert comes in and escapes without any damage. So no runs. There was 1 hit. 2 men stranded on base. There have been 7 stranded through 7 innings for the Gamecocks. We're in the 7th inning stretch. Your score, Jacksonville State 6 and Lipscomb 4. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. Home half of the 7th is underway. Maddox Houghton looks at a ball, and now he swings to a fastball. 4 strike 1, 1 ball, 1 strike. Maddox has singled, flied out, and homered. So he's having a terrific day. 2 RBIs, a couple runs scored, up to 328 on the season. Here comes the 1-1. Another off-speed pitch, swung through it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So Dylan Hathcock out, 3rd pitcher of the day for the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. Jones started, Peppers relieved, and now Hathcock out for his 2nd inning of work. and gets him with something that looked like he took a little something off away from him there. So swinging strike 3. Hathcock did a good job in the 6th, came on, gave up a leadoff hit to Stamps, but then got a ground ball, fielder's choice, a fly ball and a strikeout, and has his 2nd strikeout now, and Mason Lundgren will stand in. Lundgren hit an RBI ground out in the 1st. He slid out to left field and had a solid base hit back in the 5th. 1 for 3 on the day for Mason. And looks at a fastball right through there for strike 1. Lundgren now hitting .382 on the season. No homers and 14 RBIs. Hathcock working quickly. That's a breaking ball. Must have been downstairs. It was definitely over the plate. A ball and a strike. Again, from our vantage point, we have a pretty good low view of home plate. A little tougher to see the up-down from here. So a ball and a strike on Mason Lundgren. That one is going to be a called strike on the outside edge of the plate. So 1 ball, 2 strikes to Lundgren, and Hathcock's doing a good job coming in, throwing strikes. Here comes the 1-2. Bounced up there, 2-2. Williams waits on deck. Same 2 teams tomorrow. Opening weekend of ASUN conference action. The Gamecocks will then host Samford on Tuesday night. That one misses way outside. It'll be full count now, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Next weekend, they're actually Tuesday night at hosting Samford at Mercer on Wednesday night. Next weekend, North Alabama goes to Jacksonville State for a 3-game series, 6 p.m. Friday, 6 p.m. Saturday, 1 p.m. on Sunday. For the Gamecocks, they then play at Auburn in the midweek the next week. That one's grounded towards short. Alexander up with it, strong throw to first. And they're going to retire Lundgren for the 2nd out of the inning. Got to be impressed with the middle infield defense for these Gamecocks. Alexander at short, Frederick at 2nd. Both seniors, again, we mentioned how many games they've played. They both showed good range, good hands, and a very strong arm there. And so 2 outs and the bases empty for Malik Williams. Malik has grounded out and singled twice. 2 for 3 on the day, up to .375 on the season. And looks like we might have a pitching change here. So Coach Case has already signaled to the bullpen, and we'll step aside as the new pitcher comes in. Tell you all about it when we come back. 6-4, Jacksonville State leading Lipscomb in the bottom of the 7th. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. New pitcher for the Gamecocks, freshman A.J. Causey, 6'3", 390-pounder out of Harvest, Alabama. Causey is this will be his 8th appearance. No wins, 2 losses, 2.61 ERA, 10 1/3 innings, 11 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, 3 walks, 14 strikeouts. Opponents batting .275 against him. And he looks like a side armor who will miss inside to Malik Williams. 1 ball, no strikes. Causey from Harvest, Alabama, played at Sparkman High School, true freshman. So already getting a lot of action for Coach Case this season, with this being his 8th appearance, and that's a fastball strike through there for a ball and a strike to Malik Williams. 4th pitcher of the day, Jones started, relieved by Peppers in the 5th, Hathcock in the 6th, and now Causey with 2 outs and the bases empty in the 7th. And boy, that was a beautiful floating slider there for strike 2. I'd call that, again, that frisbee slider that starts inside and floats over the plate. And he's coming from that sidearm low 3/4 slot, and he froze Malik Williams with that one. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, throws him a fastball, and he hits it on the ground to Alexander. He's going to throw low, but it's going to be scooped up by Strachan, and Causey is going to do his job as he gets Malik Williams to ground out. So nothing doing for the Bisons in the bottom of the 7th. We head to the top of the 8th. Your score, Jacksonville State 6 and Lipscomb 4. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons baseball on YouTube Live. We're headed to the top of the 8th inning. 6 runs, 8 hits, no errors for Jacksonville State. 4 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Lipscomb Bisons. And Matthew Bonnert is back out for his second inning of work. He's worked 1 inning, given up 1 hit, no runs. Van Treek started and went 4, gave up 2 runs. Grubbs faced 2 batters, gave up 2 runs. Dunkelberger 2 innings, gave up 2 runs. And now Bonnert. And he'll be facing Derek Jackson Jr., the designated hitter, who lined into a double play in the 2nd, walked and scored a run in the 5th, and then grounded out in the 6th inning. And he swings and hits the first one high on the right side. It's heading toward the stands. It's going to stay in play because of the wind, and Malik Williams is going to glove it there. So once again, the wind pushing that one back in. And they're going to retire Derek Jackson Jr. on 1 out, or 1 pitch rather, here in the top of the 8th inning. That'll bring up Isaac Alexander. Alexander has flied out to center, single and driven in a run, and flied out to right field. So 1 for 3 on the day, 229 on the season. And Bonnert starts him off with a breaking ball that stays high as he shows bunt. 1 ball, no strikes. Again, Lipscomb's out hit Jacksonville State 9-8 today. But Jacksonville State 4 for 11 with runners in scoring position, so that's where the difference in the ball game lies. They've also taken advantage of 5 base on balls as the Bisons have walked just 1 time. It's a 2 ball, no strike count on Alexander, top of the order, and Cole Frederick waits on deck. Swings through a fastball there, and 2 balls, 1 strike. So that's that good riding fastball, the moving away from the right-handed hitter that we've seen from Matthew Bonnert. So here comes the 2-1. Same pitch, same result. 2 balls, 2 strikes. We'll catch you up again on the scoreboard. We've got scores from area teams and also the ASUN conference teams that are in action today. So scoreboard update coming as we move through this 8th inning. First the 2-2. That time he reached out and tapped the fastball out of play. It was a little bit more of the plate that he caught with that one. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. In local play, Austin Peay has dropped a 2-1 game 1 to St. Louis. In the second game, it's 3-3 in the bottom of the 1st inning. Tennessee beat South Carolina 5-2. Belmont leading Wofford 4-1 in the top of the 7th. And Tennessee Martin has beaten Western Carolina 6-2. Swung on and tapped foul. Again, fastball moving away from him, and he got a piece of it. 2-2 will remain the count. There's a second game between UT Martin and Western Carolina, and that's scoreless in the top of the 1st. In ASUN action, North Florida's beaten Liberty 5-2. Central Arkansas leading Bellarmine 10-7 in the top of the 9th, and Eastern Kentucky leading North Alabama 6-4 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Here's the 2-2. Call to strike 3, inside corner. Good spot there. And that'll be the second strikeout of the day for Bonnert. And we'll go back to the top of the order and Cole Frederick. Frederick doubled in the 1st, flew out to right field in the 3rd, drew a walk and scored a run in the 5th, and then singled in the 6th inning. So he's got a couple of base hits on the day. He's done a good job all weekend getting on base. 1 for 4 and a couple runs scored in yesterday's game. So 2 outs, bases empty for Frederick. And he's got himself another base hit. Just hit that fastball right out into right field. That'll be 9 hits now on the day for the Gamecocks, and Frederick is aboard with 2 outs, and TJ Reeves will bat. Reeves on the day, singled, hit by a pitch, singled on a couple RBIs, and lined out. He has hit the ball hard virtually every time he's been in the box, and he's having a terrific weekend. As we mentioned, he's on base 4 out of 5 trips to the plate yesterday's game. And he looks at a fastball through there for strike 1. TJ Reeves now batting .362 on the season, 3 home runs and 16 RBIs, and so he is off to a red-hot start this season for the junior TJ Reeves. That's a breaking ball that's going to miss downstairs, and that'll leave the count at a ball and a strike. A couple other scores from the ASUN are actually games to be played later. Florida Gulf Coast and Stetson will start at 6:30 Central Time. Kennesaw State and Jacksonville will get underway at 7 Central Time. And one other area score, Middle Tennessee leading Old Dominion 1-0 in the bottom of the 4th. That's after Old Dominion put up over 20 runs yesterday, I believe, in a win against Middle Tennessee. Fastball's going to ride away from him, 2 balls and 1 strike. So 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Frederick, your runner at first base. We're playing in the top of the 8th inning, and Jacksonville State is leading Lipscomb 6-4. Game 2 of a 3-game series after the Gamecocks won yesterday 10-1. Inside and low, ball 3. Kerrigan waits on deck. Definitely don't want to give in to the hot-hitting Reeves here on a 3-1 pitch. We'll see how they elect to pitch him. Fastball's low and away, ball 4. So that's almost one of those unintentional, intentional walks. As hot as he's been, you don't want to let him swing the bat and have a chance to add to the lead. So he'll trot down to first. Frederick will move to second. And with 2 outs and 2 on, Kerrigan will get an at-bat. The catcher, Kerrigan, has struck out, popped out, walked and scored a run, and walked again. So he's been on base a couple times, but 0 for 2 on the day. Batting .194 on the season, and bats with 2 outs and 2 on in the top of the 8th. And curveball, a lot of movement, but it moved inside. 1 ball, no strikes. A little bit of light activity down in the Bison's bullpen, but again, nothing that looks like anybody's throwing with a lot of energy at this point, so I think they'd like to stick with Bonnert as long as they can here. Here comes the 1-0. That's a fastball that's going to miss outside, 2-0. Bonnert's longest outing of the season, 3 1/3 innings against Pittsburgh back on February 27th. He also went 3 innings against Northern Illinois on March the 4th. Here comes the 2-0 right through there for a strike. 2 balls and a strike. Strachan waits on deck. Again, Frederick running at second, Reeves running at first. Good speed on the bases. We got a 2 ball, 1 strike count on Alex Kerrigan with 2 outs in the top of the 8th inning. Swung and fouled that fastball straight back. So that'll make the count 2-2. Same 2 teams tomorrow here at 1 o'clock Central Time start. We'll be on the air at 12:55 Central Time on our YouTube broadcast. Bisons will then begin their longest road trip of the season, starting with a trip to Louisville on Tuesday. Here's the 2-2 breaking ball way outside, and kind of backhanded glove by Rudy Maxwell. Almost looked like he might have been crossed up on that one. So 3 balls, 2 strikes. Bisons will play at Louisville. That's a 5 p.m. start on Tuesday. Then next weekend they're on the road with 3 at Central Arkansas, 6 p.m. on Friday, 4 p.m. Saturday, 1 p.m. on Sunday. Come back to Nashville for a game against Vanderbilt on the 29th at First Horizon, then 3 at Bellarmine. And there's an inside move to second, nothing doing. So 9 games in a row away from Ken Dugan Field. As after the Bellarmine series, the Bisons go to Tennessee. So they're not home again until Friday, April the 8th against Eastern Kentucky. Long stretch away from the home park for the Bisons. Here comes the payoff pitch to Kerrigan. The runners will be going, and they are, and he swings and fouls it out of play. And the count will remain 3 balls, 2 strikes. 9 games in a row away from the park, with games at Louisville, against Vanderbilt at First Horizon Park, and then at Tennessee. Conference series at Central Arkansas and Bellarmine. So a lot of tough competition coming up for the Bisons. Crucial stretch of the season. Here's the payoff. It's swung and fouled onto the right side. I believe it's going to make the seats, and it hits on top of the dugout. Again, our wind has been blowing all day between 15 and 20 miles an hour out towards left field, and so there was a ball earlier hit that I thought was going to make the seats, and it got pushed back into play and caught in foul territory. And then there's another ball foul territory that was pushed way back into fair. So can't give up on any of these balls that are hitting the air today with the wind blowing the way it is. Overcast skies here. Lights have been on throughout at Ken Dugan Field. It was 50 degrees at game time, and I'm sure it feels a lot colder than that on the field. Here comes the payoff pitch to Kerrigan. Swung on and hit in the air towards center field. Houghton drifting over to his left, still coming over, makes the catch on the run. Nice running catch there by Maddox Houghton for the 3rd out of the inning. So there were no runs on one hit, 2 men stranded. The Gamecocks have now stranded a total of 9 men on base today. We're headed to the home half of the 8th inning. Your score, Jacksonville State 6 and Lipscomb 4. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. Freshman right-hander A.J. Causey back out on the mound for the Gamecocks. We're headed to the home half of the 8th inning. He will face Rudy Maxwell, Trace Wilhoit, and Ethan Stamps, the 3 scheduled hitters here. Jacksonville State is leading Lipscomb 6-4, and Rudy Maxwell stands in. Rudy's 0 for 3 on the day. He flew out to right field, and he's grounded out to second base and then hit into a 6-4-3 double play, and he swings and fouls that one off at the plate. No balls and 1 strike. So Causey came in with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th, got Malik Williams to ground out, and he's on for his 2nd inning of work here. 4th pitcher of the day for the Gamecocks. And sidearm throws again a pitch that Maxwell hits foul, and he's going to be down in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Tanner Jones started, went the first 4, relieved by Jake Peppers, who pitched the 5th. Dylan Hathcock pitched his 6th and 2/3 of the 7th. And now Causey is on. And Frisbee slider hit in the air and a jumping catch by Norton. Norton timed his leap perfectly as Maxwell sat on that slider and lined out to third base. So nice play by Norton. He had to really time his jump there. Had he gone too early, that would have gotten over his head. As it is the first out of the inning for the Bisons, and Trace Wilhoit will come up. Trace popped out in the 2nd, then hit a solo home run way out of here in the 4th and lined out to left field in the 5th. So he's hit the ball hard the last 2 times at bat. Now hitting .268 on the season with 3 home runs, and he has a ball squibbed off the end of the bat. It comes off the glove of Strachan, who's going to go over and tap first base, and that'll be 2 quick outs for A.J. Causey. Off the end of the bat there for Wilhoit. So that'll bring up Ethan Stamps. Stamps with a solid base hit up the middle in the 2nd. Hit a ball well into the gap on the right field in the 4th, but it was caught. And then another base hit in the 6th inning. So he's 2 for 3 on the day. He's hit the ball hard all 3 times. Stamps now batting .309 on the season. 2 home runs and 8 RBIs. Those 2 home runs came last Sunday at Georgia's. He had a great weekend, going .500 on the weekend in the 3-game series against the Georgia Bulldogs. Bats now with 2 outs and the bases empty in the bottom of the 8th. And that one almost hit him. That was a slider that started behind him and came in and just escaped him. So it's ball 1. Again, Causey with that low 3/4 or sidearm delivery. And that's a fastball downstairs, and it'll be 2 balls and no strikes. Putnam very deep in left field. Also Crowe very deep in right field. They've respect the power that Stamps has showed all weekend here. And he fouls that fastball out of play. 2 balls and 1 strike. Otherwise, the infield's in a fairly normal alignment here. As we said, we've seen a lot of shifting over the weekend. Probably more from the Bisons than the Gamecocks. But both teams have played errorless baseball today. 9 hits for each side. Here comes the 2-1. Off-speed pitch hit foul down the right side. Just missed a double there, so it's 2-2. Borum waits on deck if Stamps can reach. Again, 6 walks issued by the Bison's pitchers. Only 1 walk all day by the Gamecock pitchers. They've only struck out 3, but the 1 walk, and so that's something that Coach Case and his staff will be pleased with. And the Bisons just 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. The Gamecocks, meanwhile, 4 for 12 with runners in scoring position. Frisbee slider, call strike 3. Beautiful pitch there. Tip your cap to Mr. Causey. And so nothing doing for the Bisons in the bottom of the 8th. We're going to head to the 9th inning. Your score, Jacksonville State 6 and Lipscomb 4. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. To the top of the 9th inning we go. Matthew Bonnert is back out on the mound. So far he's pitched 2 innings. He's given up 2 hits, no runs, walked 2, struck out 2. And Alex Strachan, the first baseman, will lead things off here for the Gamecocks in the top of the 9th. Strachan has doubled and driven in a couple runs. He's popped out a couple times and flied out, and he looks at a fastball downstairs for ball 1. Strachan, Norton, and Putnam are the scheduled 3 hitters here, as the Bisons like to hold it right here and give themselves a chance in the bottom of the 9th inning. That's a fastball just off the plate. 2 balls and no strikes. Gamecocks are 4-0 this season when they lead after 8 innings, but interestingly enough, they've surrendered 13 runs in the 8th and 13 runs in the 9th on the season. So they've had some troubles in the late innings, have the Gamecocks. That's a fastball in the outside corner for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. In contrast, they've done most of their damage early. They've only scored 2 runs all season in the 8th and 1 run in the 9th. Yesterday they reversed that trend. They had 1 in the 8th and 2 runs in the 9th. So by that point the game was somewhat out of reach. That's fouled out of play, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Gamecocks yesterday put up a 5 spot in the 2nd after Lipscomb had gotten ahead 1-0. Jacksonville State added a run in the 3rd, 1 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th, and 2 in the 9th. So 10 runs on 13 hits yesterday. Bisons had just 5 hits, 1 run, and committed 3 errors on the day. Errorless baseball for both teams today. 9 hits for both teams, but Jacksonville State leads 6-4. So we await a 2-2 pitch from Matthew Bonnert to Alex Strachan. Swung on and tapped towards third base. That's going to be foul, and the count will remain at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The game at Louisville on Tuesday will begin at 5 p.m. Central Time. Then next weekend, Central Arkansas. Friday night's game will be at 6 p.m. Central, Saturday at 4 p.m., and Sunday at 1 p.m. We invite you to check out lipscombsports.com to Find your broadcast options for those games. Here comes the 2-2. Swung on and hit in the air towards right field. Shields is going back, still going back. He's going to get on the warning track. He's going to move over and is going to grab it there in the power alley. So Strachan really hit that ball well. Shields went all the way back to the warning track, and then the wind pushed it away from him a bit, and he caught it out in front of the 375 sign. So loud and long first out of the inning, and that'll bring up the third baseman Brennan Norton. Norton has struck out, singled, grounded out, and singled. 2 for 4 on the day, up to 274 on the season. 1 homer and 6 RBIs, and he swings through an off-speed pitch there, 0-1. Expecting a nicer day tomorrow. Temperature is supposed to be up in the 60s and a little bit of sunshine, so we invite you to come out to the ballpark if you're in the area. That's tapped foul, 0-2. Again, Sunday fun day. Kids can run the bases on the field after the game, so come on out to the ballpark and catch Game 3 between these two teams. Last day of spring break for Lipscomb, and so should probably pick up a few folks in the crowd. That's a fastball hit straight back to the screen, and the count will remain no balls and 2 strikes. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, and curveball swinging, strike 3. Beauty there. Be the second strikeout. Correction, third strikeout for Bonnert, and with 2 outs and the bases empty, Cody Putnam will bat. Putnam has struck out, grounded into a double play, hit a sacrifice fly with an RBI, and struck out. So 0 for 3 on the day with an RBI, 217 on the season. He bats with 2 outs and the bases empty in the top of the 9th. Bonnert's done an excellent job coming in and holding it right here, and that's a curveball for a strike, 0-1. Swings through the fastball there, 0-2. So good live fastball. Bonnert is still showing here. He's thrown 51 pitches so far in 2 2/3 innings, but still has quite a bit of zip on the ball. So no balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bases empty. And Matthew Bonnert set to pitch to Cody Putnam. Swings through that one, strike 3. So a quick 1-2-3 inning, nothing doing for the Gamecocks, and we're down to the last chance for the Bisons. We head to the bottom of the 9th. Your score, Jacksonville State 6 and Lipscomb 4. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. Last chance for Lipscomb. We head to the bottom of the 9th inning. Freshman A.J. Causey back on the mound. He's been terrific so far for the Gamecocks. So an inning and a third, no hits, no runs, no walks, and 1 strikeout. He's needed just 13 pitches to record those 4 outs. And he's going to face Borum, Ketchup, and Shields, the scheduled 3 hitters here for the Bisons. Tiger Borum's going to lead things off. He's been hit by a pitch. He walked, and he hit into a fielder's choice. So 0 for 1 on the day, 150 on the season. And Borum's going to bat to start things off. So last chance for the Bisons, trailing 6-4. Game 2 of a 3-game series. Same 2 teams tomorrow, and Jacksonville State has already captured Game 1. So a win here today would guarantee them a series win on the weekend. And Borum looks at a strike on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. Third baseman Norton, even with a bag. Alexander shifted a little towards up the middle. And outfield straight away and deep. Borum swings to another off-speed pitch, 0-2. Borum, Ketchup, and Shields scheduled here. And that one's going to miss inside and low. It'll be a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Borum. Again, Causey a side armor or low 3/4. Throwing a fastball with some run on it and sort of a frisbee type slider. And he swings through that off-speed pitch for strike 3. That'll be the Second strikeout for Causey. And Caleb Ketchup will come up there. Caleb has grounded out, struck out, and flied out on the day. Batting .241 on the season. And actually, we're going to have a pinch hitter here. It's going to be Hayden Skipper batting for Ketchup. So Hayden Skipper will come up to bat for Ketchup here in the bottom of the ninth. Skipper's had just 6 at-bats on the season, still looking for his first base hit. And he looks at a strike there. Skipper's a sophomore outfielder out of Manchester, Tennessee, Coffee County High School, 6 foot tall, 196 pounder. Swings and hits this one high in the air off to the left side. Is it going to make the seats? I don't think it will. It's going to stay in play and be caught by the third baseman, Norton. So nice play, Norton. He had to go way over to near the fence, kept his wits about him the whole time, and they're going to retire Skipper. And now the Bisons are down to their final out of the day. It's in the person of John Shields. John's had a great start to the day. Tripled and scored a run back in the first. Since then, he's grounded out, popped out, and struck out. So 1 for 4 on the day for Shields. 3-11 on the season. 2 outs, bases empty. Bottom of the ninth inning. And Lipscomb down to their final out. And that's a fastball on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. Frisbee slider's going to stay high there, and it's a ball and a strike. Houghton waits on deck if Shields can reach. Houghton already with 1 home run today, and he'd love to get a chance to come to plate as a tying run. That's a fastball down low, and it'll be 2 balls and 1 strike on Shields. Again, outfield very deep. Crowe very deep, almost on the warning track in right field, respecting what the wind has done. Shields fouls that one away. Fastball on the outside part, and so it's 2 balls, 2 strikes now. Bison's down to their final strike on the day. A.J. Causey, the true freshman out of Harvest, Alabama, has done a terrific job coming on. And here's his 2-2 pitch to Shields. He hits it in the air towards center field. Reeves is going to take a couple steps in. He's camped out under it, and that will be your ball game. So nothing doing for the Bisons in the bottom half of the ninth. 3 up and 3 down. And Jacksonville State is going to win this game, is going to win this series. So your final line score is going to be 6 runs and 9 hits, no errors for the Gamecocks. 4 runs, 9 hits, and no errors for the Bisons. Time of the game is going to be 2 hours and 39 minutes. And we'll recap the scoring for you here. And Bison's got on the board first in the first inning. John Shields doubled. Maddox Houghton singled and drove him in. And then Mason Lundgren had an RBI ground out, and the Bisons were up 2-0. That remained your score until the 4th inning when the Bisons tallied 1 more off the solo home run by Trace Wilhoit. And they led 3-0 heading into the top of the 5th. The wheels came off a little bit there as the Gamecocks used a couple of walks, 3 walks actually, and a couple of base hits to drive in a couple runs. There was a pitching change. There was another walk and then a 2 RBI double off the bat of Strachan. They followed that up with a sacrifice fly, and by the time the inning was done, 6 runs had crossed the board for the Gamecocks. The Bisons went back to work in the bottom of the 5th. They got a single run back off the solo home run from Maddox Houghton. They got the deficit to 6-4, but it remained there as the Bisons unable to do anything else offensively. A.J. Causey coming in the 7th inning, getting a big ground out and then retiring 6 straight hitters in the 8th and 9th inning to end the game for Jacksonville State. So, folks, we'll remind you that our next action for Lipscomb baseball will be tomorrow, March 20th, when the Bisons will once again take on these Jacksonville State Gamecocks. The first pitch will be at 1 p.m. Central Time. That will be our next telecast for Lipscomb baseball. We'll be on the air at approximately 12:55 p.m. Central Time tomorrow. Again, that game will be on YouTube Live. Our special thanks go to Lipscomb Athletic Director Philip Hutchison, To the Associate Athletic Director for External Relations, Brent McMillan, Assistant Athletic Director for Communications, Kirk Downs, and the Assistant Director for Athletic Communications, Hannah Jo Riley. On behalf of our crew today, this is Doc Allen saying thanks for your time this time, and till next time, so long. You've been watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live.